Ready, set, go.
Yeah, whole team on a loose. Kick it up like Kung Fu. Untamed, yeah, cool. Running plays like who knew. Hella fast when I slide through. You would've thought we was in a zoo. Engine roar like a lion do. Yeah, devil, I'm a damn fool. Switching lanes, hanging out the roof. Tires screech when I bend the corner. All you see is a big poof. Then I'm leaving my initials. Street marks, I'm official. Taking off like a missile. You can hear the wind whistle.
Yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Hey, yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Ready, set, go. 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 Ready, set, go. 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 Yeah, ready, set, go.
Get into it like pronto, get hit with a combo. Do it large, real jumbo, so dirty like gumbo. Big money in a two-seater, hair blowing, you see her. I got her, you need her. Never would I wanna be her. And I've been grinding all of my life. Now look at my sights, mile high, I'm fly. Ride till I die. Look how I arrive, like the president inside. See the look in their eyes.
I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Ready, set, go.
Ready, set, go, let's go. Go, on your mark, go. Yeah,
Ready, set, go.
ready, set, go. On your mark, go, let's go. Go,
Yeah, ready, set, go.
Yeah, and you know I like big coupes. Two-seater with the missing roof. Run the meter to a can't boot. I'm the best, got them all mute. Break the bank, talking big loot. Business talk, making big moves. Full tank, no I can't lose. Left them in the dust confused. All I ever did was break rules. Full throttle, I don't like cruise. Guess I got a couple screws loose. Son devil, I'm a damn fool. Ain't no telling what I might do. Taking off like a missile. Street marks, I'm official.
Yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Hey, yeah, I don't think they ready. I don't really think they want it. I don't think they ready. Ready, set, go.
ready, set, go, let's go. Go, on your mark, go. Yeah,
Ready, set, go.
ready, set, go. On your mark, go, let's go. Go, let's go.
Ready, set, go. 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 Ready, set, go. 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 Yeah, ready, set, go. Go. Yeah, ready, set, go.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ward Radio live stream. I am your host, Cardon Ellis. And today I am joined in the studio by a killer cast of characters. We have none other than Brad
Hey, careful there.
Wetback.
Wrong immigrant.
Oh, then there's, that's funny. That's funny. We have Brad.
Why I've got to be careful and have a pen name here, guys.
Oh,
you
that's
just
funny.
discovered.
We got Brad Whitbeck and Luke Hansen from Doctrine and Governance. And today, man, Luke, dude, this has been a big week, guys. A big week.
Week and a half.
What's going on? Let's just dive right in, man. Everybody's talking about Mormons. Like, where do we even start?
I have an premium account, and so I got my payout today and was like, oh yeah, there was more interaction these past 2 weeks than there's been before. It's a little bit higher.
Funny.
Yeah, we've just been all over the news. The main ones are Alex O'Connor talking about us with Trent Horn, and then the whole Matt Fradd Daily Wire thing happening again with his recent article, 7 Reasons Not to Trust Joseph Smith. And then, of course, Cameron and a really nerdy PhD Catholic student named Ethan have also just decided that today is this week was anti-Mormon week, specifically anti-Joseph week. So things were just blowing up all over Christian YouTube this week. So I think we'll take them chronologically and start with Alex O'Connor, if that works for you guys.
Yep.
Oh, are you kidding me? That totally works for me. Because, this week I feel like it's been drinking out of a fire hose. Usually there's like one big thing that happens that week, 2 or 3 small things, a day of fun evergreen news, like, some crazy folklore story or some like recycled trope we got to debunk or whatever. But this week, like, I have not been able to breathe dealing with social media and everything that's going on. So yeah, let's just start oldest to newest. All
right, so
Luke, let's dive right in, man.
And I'm gonna drip feed it into the Discord just so you don't have to scroll through a lot of stuff. So right now there should just be one timestamped YouTube thing.
Yes.
And this is Alex O'Connor, of course, very famous, popular atheist, versus Trent Horn in kind of a more informal debate on did Jesus rise from the dead. And Alex O'Connor, basically for the third or fourth time now, is basically just going to copy and paste Jacob Hansen's argument back at Trent Horn. So the ghost of the Book of Mormon debate has come to haunt Trent Horn once again. He can't get rid of this point now that Jacob's put it out there in the wild. So,
and he doesn't have a solid answer to it.
No, not really. And this video has almost 400,000 views at this point.
Really?
And it's from a little over a week ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
that timestamp should be right about what we're looking for.
Okay, awesome. So here it is at 8 minutes and 6 seconds for those that want to know. And it's called Debate. Did Jesus Christ rise from the dead? Trent Horn versus Alex O'Connor on Alex O'Connor's channel. Alex O'Connor, go.
I like to talk about Mormonism, and I like to do it for a few reasons. Firstly, because it usually offers a bit of a sort of left field comparison for Christians, but also in this context, I know that Trent has spent a lot of time looking into Mormonism and debating Mormonism. I would like to tell people, for example, that if you pick up any copy of the Book of Mormon, it always begins with testimonies from first the 3 witnesses and then secondly the 8 witnesses. And these are men who claimed to see, in the first instance, Joseph Smith, the golden plates of Joseph Smith be handed by an angel to Joseph Smith. Now, those first 3 witnesses claimed that they saw this. Now, it's a little bit complicated because it's like 2 of them saw it at the same time and then 1 of them saw it later. And you might say that he was hallucinating, but I would say, how do you account for the corroboration between that and the other 2? At the very least...
So this is an impressive command of the story so far.
Yeah.
It's not just like a superficial thing. Like he's going into it.
He's studied this.
Yeah, making it a little hard for Trent to get out of it.
Yeah.
Claimed to see something, again, collectively, which I don't think Trent can grant happened. I don't think he can grant that an angel gave Joseph Smith the golden plates. And yet, they claim to have seen
By
this.
the way, great stone cold poker face. Look at that. Like, he wasn't given an inch, man.
And you might say that he was
At one point, you see him typing
how...
away on his computer like, hurry, look this thing up, whatever it is that he's trying to find. But yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. This is one stone cold poker face. I just rewinded like 10 seconds. Watch this.
How do you account for the corroboration between that and the other 2? At the very least, these men who claimed to see something, again, collectively, which I don't think Trent can grant happened. I don't think he can grant that an angel gave Joseph Smith.
Look at that. He is not letting him know there's an ace of spades in his hand or that he only has a pair of 3s. You know what I'm saying? This guy right here, just stone cold. I'm digging it.
The golden plates. And yet they claim to have seen this. And there's something extra here that you don't get in the Christian tradition, which is that it's kind of a reverse Paul. People often say, well, Paul used to persecute Christians, so why would he see this vision? This is the other way around, and I think therefore stronger. All 3 of these men were eventually excommunicated from the Mormon church. They fell out with Joseph Smith, and they were excommunicated from the church, yet until the day of their death, they asserted that they had seen the Book of Mormon.
But what about Martin Harris? But what about Martin Harris?
Yeah, the spiritual eyes. No, dude, this is a solid way to lay out this argument.
And like,
it's
no
really
offense
good.
to Jacob Hansen, but Alex is doing at least as good, if not better, than Jacob Hansen of laying out this case here.
Well, the thing I like is the way that he and he's able to do this in a way that a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can't. He says, hey,
He just
they
like
have a
has
reverse
credibility.
Paul.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have skin in the game, you know, in the same
Yeah.
way that we would. We can't pat ourselves on the back and be like, we have something better than Paul has. And people would be like, no, you don't, right?
Oh, apologists.
Yeah,
You just use that word apologist, and then you can just dismiss, hand wave
Exactly.
away everything. Yep.
But here we have Alex O'Connor saying that, and it's true, because these guys did not recant. And any time that people went out of their way to say like, oh yeah, no, they didn't really see him, they're like, yeah, we did. Like, they go out and correct this. So I don't know. It's cool to see. I really appreciate this. I get that he's mostly using this as a point to in his arguments against Trent here. But I appreciate the study that he's put into understanding this argument and making it well.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an interesting one so far. And we finish. I mean, there's still more to go, man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we got to see what Trent said to this.
Yeah, this is really interesting. And ultimately, Josh Gailey had a great post on this. Actually, I'll bring it up afterwards. Let's let him finish.
Yeah.
It's complicated. As Trent knows, Martin Harris is said to have sort of seen the plates with his spiritual eyes. So I'm attempting to draw an analogy here, right? So Martin Harris is one of the three witnesses, the other being Oliver Cowdery and David Whitman. And in
Whitmore.
1838, Stephen Burnett claims that Martin Harris didn't see it with his natural eyes, but that it was a kind of vision. But then Martin Harris later said, look, as surely as I see my hands, I saw the golden plates. What I want to point out is that there are analogues here, which is that you've got this sort of claim of group appearances, which seem a little bit strange. You've got this kind of reason why maybe they wouldn't want to make this claim. And then you've got this slight debate over, well, was it physical? Was it spiritual? We're not entirely sure. Yeah. People often talk about the persecution of the apostles. So when I bring up the Mormon church, people say, oh yeah, but you don't understand that Christians were persecuted. They were put to death by Nero and Diocletian. And I'm like, have you looked into Mormon history? Do you not know that in the lifetimes of these witnesses and other witnesses to Mormon miracles, Mormons were persecuted by the United States of America? There was the Mormon Extermination Act in Missouri, which literally called for the extermination and expulsion of Mormons. They were chased out of basically every state that they went into. In other words, I'd like to know how we explain that. There's then the 8 witnesses who don't witness the angel, but they do witness the golden plates. 8 of them who, again, 3 of those guys also lose touch with the Mormon church, fall out with Joseph Smith and get excommunicated, but still attest that that's what they saw. More to the point, though, there's this extraordinary event which I found when I was researching the history of the Mormon church a while ago, which is a Transfiguration event. It's absolutely extraordinary. So in 1844, I'm sure Trent will be familiar with this. In 1844, there was something of a success.
He's not happy about this. I like Trent Horn.
Which just keeps going and going and going.
This is just
and honestly, I was fascinated by him bringing up the Brigham Young aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like, I probably would have gone to, and you know what? He actually got some things right about geography and the old world and or the Book of Abraham, like Enoch, the stuff that he predicted before it was out there publicly. And I've never heard like a going to a Brigham Young thing, but it makes sense in this context of the resurrection of Jesus event, because he's trying to make the case that people can have the impression of seeing somebody as like a spiritual experience. And so simply positing that as a proof positive silver bullet of the resurrection doesn't get you there, because then you have to grant a lot of stuff in Mormonism as well.
Yeah, this really is intriguing. And Josh Gailey makes a good point that the Book of Mormon ultimately will save the Bible, not replace the Bible, but will save the Bible from incredibility, because it will show that there are people that were willing to die and pass all the criterions that secular academia requires to say something happened. Whether it's the criterion of embarrassment, whether it's multiple attestations close to the event, corroborating witnesses, signed affidavits, whatever. The witnesses of the Book of Mormon showing that miracles do happen in modernity according to the academic rubric of corroboration, of proof. The fact that that rubric is reached for the Book of Mormon, and Mormons also regard the Bible as scripture, is actually going to help secular and atheistic people believe more in the Bible, not less. Does that make sense?
Honestly, yeah. So it's interesting, because I think what Alex is doing here is pointing out a little bit of hypocrisy on the part of Trent Horn, where his standard of evidence is one thing for the Bible itself and for the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but he has a different standard for the actual Bible, or for the Book of Mormon, right? And so that's part of what he's pointing out, is this mix-up in, oh, hey, if you are going to take the evidence for the resurrection, you should also be taking the evidence for the Book of Mormon, right? And I think what you're saying is an interesting thing here, Cardon. This cuts both ways. This is the kind of thing that,
question,
like,
but
okay,
let's go ahead.
If you're going to be, go ahead.
Oh, no, that was an accident. Keep going.
Okay, so I think it cuts both ways. Like, you can take this in a way like, okay, well, if I don't believe the Book of Mormon, then I also shouldn't believe in the resurrection, right? That's one way you could take this. But you can also take it the other direction of, well, I do believe in the resurrection, and I didn't know these things about the Church of Jesus. Woo! About the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As I choke, I need to get some water. But yeah, I don't know these things about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Maybe I should look into this more because, hey, yeah, it does fit the standard of evidence that I hold for believing in the Bible. So it's an interesting thing to me that when you point out this double standard, it lets people choose for themselves, like, okay, which are you going to do? Are you going to hold to the standard that lets you believe in the resurrection of Jesus Christ and have all of that evidence that the Book of Mormon has add to that witness in a wonderful way that shows, yeah, Jesus really is the Christ? Or are you going to go the other direction and drop both?
Yeah. I found the quote. While I did that, see if you can't bump up your mic gain 10%.
Mine?
Yeah, yours, Brad. Sorry.
I got you.
And I'm good.
There we go. You're good, Luke. You're booming and intimidating. So,
Awesome.
Yeah. Here's what Josh Gailey said. The arguments in comparison for the Book of Mormon, Golden Plates, and Miracle of the Restoration compared to the historical resurrection of Jesus Christ as first completed in my book lives on. I remember 2/3 of the way through the book pausing for about a month, thinking atheists might one day use these arguments against a Catholic or Protestant. I eventually kept going, feeling that if that ever happened, it would be a great compliment. Thanks, Alex O'Connor, for catching hold of these points and forcing all Christian apologetics to face a reality. The strongest evidence for Jesus' resurrection is ... in fact ... the Book of Mormon. Think about that. Like, the strongest evidence for Jesus' resurrection is in fact the Book of Mormon.
Dude,
That's
and there
intense.
are those that is an amazing line from Josh Gailey there.
Uh-huh.
And I think he's right. And there are those who would scoff at that, but I would invite them to think and recognize that those are the way that they're acting right then is exactly how an atheist would scoff that Christ rose from the dead.
Yeah.
They'd scoff at believing that Moses crossed the Red Sea. They'd scoff at all of these things. Like, it is awesome because Alex O'Connor, an atheist himself, is pointing out the way that these guys are arguing like atheists, as Jacob Hansen so often puts it. And it's very accurate.
Yeah, this is funny. Also, poor guy. We paused on a bad frame. This is just we got to have him work on his resting unhappy in a debate face. I love Trent Horn. I've met him in person. He's a great guy. Luke has met him in person. He's a great guy. We
Multiple
love Trent.
times.
We love Catholics. We're going to work on Trent's like sitting there with the camera on face. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, do you know what else we love, Cardon?
What?
People
Super
who
chats.
like the stream.
There.
I see
Yeah.
what you did there. I see
And
what you did
super
there.
chats. Do you want me to hit up some of those really
Yes,
quick?
super chats, please.
Before
And
we-
then we've got to
Yeah.
get to the responsive Trent.
Yeah,
Yes,
we got to get the
yes.
response to Trent. Okay.
I don't want to interrupt that. Should we get right through that?
Yeah,
and
let's
then
get
maybe.
right through this.
chats?
Let's get
Yeah.
right through this.
Yeah.
Actually, let's get right through this. Here we go.
Smith had died, and they didn't know who was going to be the next leader. So they called a conference in August, on the 8th of August. Brigham Young is one of the speakers. Now, we know from Brigham Young's later diaries that he says that there were thousands of people present. He says there were thousands of people at this conference. So let's say there were at least a few hundred. And amazingly, George Cannon writes in 1870, which is just 26 years later, that Brigham Young, while speaking, vying for the leadership, transfigures into the image and likeness and voice of Joseph Smith. He says, who that was present on that occasion can ever forget the impression it made upon them? If Joseph had risen from the dead and spoken in their hearing, the effect could not have been more startling than it was to many present at that meeting. So we've got this report of probably hundreds of people seeing quite a miraculous event. Now, you could say, well, that report comes 26 years later. Okay, and how much later were Paul's reports? How much later were the gospel reports? Also note that in 1857, which
It's
is
a
just
very good point. And And one of the things that the resurrection and kind of the narrative around Jesus suffers from historically that the Book of Mormon does not, is that if you look at the earliest gospel, which is usually agreed to be Mark, and then Luke and Matthew come, and then John is last, a decent way later, the atheists like Bar Ehrman will actually posit that you see an evolution in thought about who Jesus was. And so in Mark, it's just like a lot of little tiny stories about awesome things that Jesus did. The resurrection is kind of maybe briefly in there, kind of, if you don't account for the longer version, which we're not entirely sure when that was added. Then Matthew and Luke go into it a little bit more. And then John's the one that's like, all right, guys, chapter 1, verse 1, the word was God, he was God, and all the way through John. And so it's like this evolution in the thought of who Jesus was that they say shows more of a folklore Jesus rather than an actual historical Jesus. Book of Mormon doesn't have those problems. 3 witness statements from day one, right when the Book of Mormon is published, are in there. They're attested to by those witnesses and affirmed multiple times throughout their whole lives. And then they die without changing the story at all. No complications there. And so the Book of Mormon does even have strengths historically that the resurrection does not.
I am loving this. Brad, you got anything to say before I press play again?
And by the way, this is the book, the Josh Gailey book that really popularizes this argument comparing resurrection to Book of Mormon witnesses. It's witnessing miracles. It's awesome, and it's not too long.
Yeah, P.S. P freaking S. Put that cover back up. Josh Gailey.
Okay.
Josh Gailey.
Maybe a second edition, you can help him.
I love Josh Gailey. Okay. He's a dear friend of mine. I consider him a personal friend, and I've told him this to his face, so this is not going to surprise him if he watches this on replay. Put that back up there. This is like one of the single best books written on the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the Book of Mormon, all right, in terms of like evidence for it. He's an archaeology student. I get nothing out of this book. You know, I'm just saying I have read it, right? It's probably the seminal work on the subject right now. Okay. It's the best book on the topic with the absolute worst cover. Like this is
Cardon.
It's heinous. Like it's clip art.
Do you
from
know
the
what the
90s.
new cover needs to be? Do you know what the
It
new
needs
cover
to be Jesus and Joseph Smith like profile staring at each other.
Or like they're about to fight. No, what I want it to be, is a juxtaposed like resurrection and restoration thing where we have like the
a
empty
tomb and then the box with the plates or something, an empty box.
Both of them with the stone rolled away from them and light shining out from.
Ooh.
We
I
need
think
to
that would be
print the
sick.
second edition. Josh, Ward Radio Press is going to print your second edition.
The first book.
And I demand.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
I demand to redo the cover art. That's my only stipulation, right?
And then, of course, the more nerdy version that just purely goes over the witnesses, not the other stuff. This is the absolute classic.
Oh,
Investigating Book of Mormon is Richard Lloyd Anderson.
Okay,
Nice.
cool, sick. All right, let's keep going with our boy Alex O'Connor, who with I give him credit, a very tasteful mustache.
Yes. One final thing before we get there.
Yeah.
If you have read the Book of Mormon, like the stream.
Hey,
I better like it then.
All right, rock on. Here we go. He finishes. Alex O'Connor, go.
13 years after this event, after the Transfiguration, you have Albert Carrington's experience recorded, where Carrington says that, well, Brigham Young recounts Albert Carrington's experience and says that Carrington says that people could not tell him from Joseph Smith and could not see anyone but Joseph speaking. What you'll notice is that there's still this evidence that there's some kind of transfigurative event, but much less detailed, but much more close to the source. In 1869, 25 years later, so somewhere in the middle, Orson Hyde, who was an early Mormon leader, confirmed the event, saying it was the voice of Joseph and there were the features, gestures, and even the stature of Joseph. So what we have are 3 independent, in one case, eyewitness account, because Orson Hyde was actually speaking on the same day at the conference, eyewitness accounts of a transfiguration of Brigham Young in front of hundreds of witnesses, many of whom, in the words of George Cannon, he says, who was present on that occasion that could ever forget this? In other words, if you're in any doubt about this, you could go and ask the witnesses who were there. Now, shelve that for a moment.
Which is not unlike
and think
Paul's.
about how people talk
Yep.
about things like Trent's already mentioned the appearances that Paul recounts in 1 Corinthians 15. Paul says that Jesus appeared to Peter, which is strange because we don't get that narrated in the gospel stories, even though that seems to be the first and most important. But I mean, most pressingly, Paul says that Jesus appears to 500 people, as above 500 people, probably more than possibly above in a visionary experience. That's something else. And people say, look, this is our only source. But, you know, Paul says some of these people are still alive. So if you're in any doubt, you could just go and ask them. And I would say, well, why didn't people go and ask about the Mormon Transfiguration experiences? Perhaps because if you read George Q. Cannon's account, it's not clear who these people are. I mean, people often say this. They say, you know, those 500 people, some of them are still alive, so you could have gone and checked. How? You're just going to like walk to Jerusalem, which has tens of thousands of people at minimum in it, and just start asking around and see if anyone's seen the risen Christ? How many no's would it take before you said, okay, maybe not then? In other words, I have no idea why Paul says that Jesus appeared to 500 people. We don't know that Paul was there. He probably wasn't. He says he's passing down something that was passed on to him, which says that it's an early creed. But we're not quite sure where that creed ends because Paul inserts himself at the end of it. But we don't know where he's heard it from. We don't know who these 500 people are. We don't know why they were gathered. We don't know how many of them believed. We don't know if any of them recanted. We don't know anything about this kind of event. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying that compared to something like the events of the Transfiguration of Brigham Young, from someone like outside of all of this, who has no vested interest here really, I see them as equally plausible, perhaps more plausible in the case of Mormonism, because that happened in the 1800s.
Oh, let that marinate.
Dude. That's a fascinating argument that I hadn't heard before. Like, Alex is actually going out there and making new arguments. Version 2, Josh, Gailey, can put that in there. Another comparison that he doesn't make in his book. So pretty brilliant by Alex, actually. I hadn't noticed that before. It has been one of my pet peeves of... Are you texting him now, Cardon?
I actually literally am texting Josh Gailey right now.
Nice.
Well,
nice.
I want to point out again, this is not Alex O'Connor bringing these things up as though like, see, look, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is definitely true. He's bringing this up because Trent does not believe our truth claims, right? And then saying, we have a stronger reason to believe ours, so how can you still hold to yours, right? So this isn't necessarily Alex O'Connor just like out here glazing our church, being like, it's the best. He is.
It's funny.
Go ahead.
User-EQ8MQ6ZW3E commented on the videos and said, I think Alex and Trent just converted me to Mormonism.
That's awesome. And really, that is kind of where I see this going, right? Once people actually understand the real information, because what I love about what's going on here, you have Alex O'Connor actually talking about the actual evidence that we have. He's not recycling the same old anti-Mormon trope stuff that we see all of the time. In fact, he's anticipating and counter-arguing those things. And I think when you look at the actual evidence, there's going to be plenty of people who see that and think, you know what? That does fit my standard of evidence. I need to look into this more. So
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know in the history of the church, and obviously I'm not an expert on it, but just like as far as I can tell, I don't know when somebody with this big of a platform who's not a member has made such a positive case for the Book of Mormon. It's pretty remarkable. We can go, Cardon, to 2322 to finally get to Trent's response, because Alex is just just cooks and cooks.
We are stacked up on super chats.
Let's do super chats, and then we'll go to the timestamp.
And then we have a timestamp, so we'll get right to Trent when we get back.
Okay, so hit me with the super chats, Brad. Read them out, my man.
Alrighty. So, starting off, we have Dragon Slayer X12 says they are just jealous that they don't have temple rocks. Both right and left are just so jealous of us. And you still need to come to Pennsylvania, Cardon.
Temple rocks. Oh, by the way, actually, with all of these live events we're doing, I am looking for a place in the northeastern seaboard to actually do one of our Salt Lake City takeover events. We had a donor reach out and say he would be willing to sponsor the event at the Kiggins Theater in Portland. So we're locking down the Portland event. We got a venue in St. George. I did a vote via community post. So if you're not subscribed to Ward Radio, get subscribed real fast. I communicate with the fans oftentimes on x.com or on community posts on YouTube. And the number one voted city for our next event in the community post was St. George. And we got a venue going down in St. George. And today, I just had a new sponsor say they would be willing to give us their new building, the law firm. It's a big, giant, like 20,000 square foot like law firm building built in the 90s that they need to renovate before the law firm moves in. And they said if we wanted to play a giant game of paintball in the building before it gets renovated, because it's going to get tore up, that we could do a Ward Radio event like paintballing with the patriarchy or paintballing with the priesthood,
dude,
or something. Have
that
some
would be a blast.
based paintballing event in Las Vegas. And then now I'm choosing the 4th and 5th spot because I want to do 5 events. Kansas City and Florida had an equal amount of people that commented, and I didn't realize there were so many members there. And then also maybe Raleigh, South Carolina, and then and or like Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, something like there. So we want to be hitting all these different spots. And so, gosh, maybe we can finally live the dream of going to see Temple Rocks and see Dragon Slayer. So anyway, next super chat, hit it.
Okay, G. Rourke says, I like to talk about Mormonism also. Happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah, baby. Thank you.
You've come to the right place.
Yes. Tristan Evans says, Luke Hansen, the Daily Wire, in quotes, the Daily Wire isn't anti-Mormon. Daily Wire editors, in quotes now, hold my beer.
It's funny. It's true. Although Luke Hansen, apologist for the Daily Wire and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Dual income stream.
Dual income
stream. Instead of 2 parents with with an income each, just 1 person dual income.
He's good at leveraging. That's
how we make it work.
He's good at leveraging the parents against each other during Christmas time. Well, Daddy's getting me this thing, right? You know, you've got a video coming out tomorrow on Matt Fradd.
Perfect.
You know, on the Matt Fradd. I don't want to say takedown, but the Matt Fradd
I go pretty
article.
hard after him.
Oh,
Good.
You do? Okay.
Yes,
because he deserves it.
All right.
Thank you, Luke.
So then,
and the reason why that was surprising to me, by the way, is it's already pre-recorded. It's in the can, and it was just a matter of when Cardon was going to put it out. So that's good news to me that it's coming out tomorrow.
Okay,
Nice.
Cool. So not your average Dan. Yeah.
He says, I watched and loved the debate and was like, get him, Pa. All the while thinking that he is really hitting us at the same time. Yeah, I appreciate you pointing that out. Don't get too excited. This isn't Alex O'Connor being like, and now I'm meeting with the missionaries and they're going to dunk me on this next Saturday. Like, this is him using our arguments really to point out where Trent has flaws in his, right? So it's a double-edged sword. It's an interesting thing to see happen.
Yeah. All right.
Next up, Mr. Daddy of 7. He says, this one is not a super chat, Cardon. I'm just pulling it because I really liked it, so I'm saying this one on air. He said, the Book of Mormon proves Christianity. And that's such a good point. This is something that I think people are going to start recognizing more and more, especially as we reemphasize the actual name of the church. It's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The point of the Book of Mormon is to prove Christianity.
Yeah.
It's awesome stuff. Now, Old Man Coco says, I'm okay with my theology being used as a tool in Alex's back pocket. Not sure if it's a good or bad thing to say. Time will tell. I think he's right. That's absolutely correct.
Well, yeah, if it was someone like Matt Dillahunty, I'd be more concerned with that. Or even
talk about a guy who can't get a date.
Or Richard Dawkins. Oh no, he's like a homosexual weird partner fetish. That's a whole thing.
Oh, really?
But you kind of hit the nail on that. Yes.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway,
I thought that.
but Alex O'Connor is
I just
a
thought
thoughtful.
he thought robots were conscious. But go ahead.
And notice Alex doesn't really have like and obviously all this Mormon stuff is really stupid to me, but it was more like, yeah, so actually it's more that he's presenting it as an equally interesting religious claim to the resurrection. He's not one of these like, religion is for stupid people. Oh, look at how dumb this is. Point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is why. No, how could anybody possibly believe this? He's more like, yeah, I don't buy that. It's interesting, but if you're going to be consistent, you have to acknowledge that Mormonism's claims are equally as interesting in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we got a really good one from G. Rourke. This one's sick. He says, the Book of Mormon is supposed to prove the Bible is true. How can the Book of Mormon do this independently? It would have to provide new information that corroborated the Bible in a way that someone couldn't say they just repeated what the Bible said. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Great point.
So, okay, so somebody can't just say, oh, God inspired me and write something like, yes, Jesus definitely rose from the dead, you guys. But more like, oh, we have people with an angel. We have another empty stone box. We have unexplained appearances of objects that we have no idea how they could have gotten there. A text that's outside the bounds of the author's capability.
Mm-hmm.
And
this
so
is
it
exactly
demands
why-
explanation.
Yeah, and this is exactly why the gold plates are an important artifact. Because if they're real, then the story of the Book of Mormon is real, right? Like if they were truly containing this record that the angel told the three witnesses was a true translation, right? If this is all true, then yeah, the Bible is true. It is this amazing supporting witness. And it was really fascinating. I was actually looking at something today about, you guys know actually in the Book of Mormon, near the end of the Book of Mormon, or near the end of the Book of Alma, where we have Captain Moroni just randomly, not randomly, he has a reason for doing it, but he brings up the coat of Joseph and the remnant of the coat of Joseph.
Title of Liberty, yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that today and about how well that fits with the restoration itself. And it's cool because that legend gets corroborated later by other sources. There are other people who kept that legend in apocryphal sources elsewhere that it doesn't look like Joseph Smith would have had access to. So
okay.
it's like,
at first I thought you meant in the Book of Mormon lineage, we have like that kind of story through some sort of Mesoamerican, but you're talking about through the Jewish people, through Israelite.
Yeah, on the other side of the world, stuff Joseph Smith didn't have access to. It's like, oh, hey, what's going on here? This is really fascinating. This preserved part of Joseph, it's the Book of Mormon, right? And it's this preserved form of priesthood, ultimately, because if the coat of many colors was handed down the way that we think it was and was as significant as it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be some kind of mention of priesthood. And so it's a really fascinating way that works its way into the restoration itself, this preserved piece out of the tribe of Joseph. But that's a bit of a tangent. I think it's just so cool.
Cool. Keep going to the next super chat.
Super chats. Patriotic Woody says, Cardon, love Ward Radio, been watching since the days of Midnight Mormons. Yeah. Thank you, Patriotic Woody. Tristan Evans.
Brad was there. He's one of the OGs. All right.
It was great.
Keep
Good
going.
times. Tristan Evans, K5Z, says, the best proof that apologists haven't read the Bible or Book of Mormon is when they say the Isaiah chapters are a word-for-word copy.
What is our response to that? I've already forgotten.
Ships of Tarsus.
Yes, the ships of the Tarshish.
Yep. Oh man, there's so many different things. There's other episodes and even articles out there. But for some of it, like scholars think that Isaiah was maybe written by like 3 different people.
Yeah.
Three more. But the Book of Mormon chapters, interestingly, like he skips the first chapter of Isaiah and starts on number 2. And the first chapter is actually considered a later introduction written later. Yeah. And so Joseph Smith just happens to start where they actually think the
He just
older
got-
material was.
Yeah, he just got super lucky when he.
Well, and
skipped
then
first
even
chapter
the
of
way
Isaiah.
even the way that it's used, like what Nephi is using it for, it's not just like, all right, better write some scriptures down. 'Cause, I was a bad boy. I need to copy lines or something onto the gold plates. He's actually using it for a purpose to teach the people about their role in the house of Israel,
Yeah.
and then how Jesus is going to play into that.
Honestly, we should do an episode sometime on the Deutero-Isaiah stuff, because there are people who are like, this is a total issue, and they treat it as though that theory of like the Deutero-Isaiah, like 3 different authors for Isaiah, is like established fact. It's a solid theory. It's a theory that's out there, but it's not necessarily established fact the way that it gets treated by some of the people who use it as an argument against us. But that's an interesting thing we should get into in another episode sometime. It's interesting, cool stuff, especially when you look at some of the stuff about like, hey, how much of this is like songs that are handed down from this Isaiah school of literature, right? And is maybe not even necessarily stuff that was all written as much as it was sung, right? There's fascinating stuff in there. Next up, I've got Lisa P. Frampton. She says, how can I convince/persuade my hubs to go to Dude's events and meet y'all in person or get more involved? He's more into the coinage stuff and introverted.
Tell him that I'll be there rather than Cardon. If you're introverted, don't talk to Cardon for too long.
Actually, you know what I
we'll
was
get into
thinking?
numismatics with you.
Sure.
well,
I don't know what that is, but I'd be happy to
that's
hear about
coins.
it.
A numismatic
it.
is it's like the collection of coins. Actually, Lisa, how into coins is he? Because for about 3 years now, I've had a series of Ward Radio episodes I've actually wanted to do on ancient coinage that actually comes from private collections or that I own. Especially the coins of the Bible and the type of coinage that would have existed before Lehi left the East for the New World. You'll notice that the Book of Mormon doesn't actually mention coinage. We accidentally said in the chapter heading in the 1920s, when we were summarizing each chapter, Nephite coinage is explained. But the truth is, coins weren't really invented until about 20 or 30 years after Lehi left Jerusalem, and they were invented in a town called Lydia. And they were made out of electrum, which is a naturally occurring alloy that's a mixture of silver and gold. And they were stamped with a tiger on the front, and on the obverse, they were stamped with a square. And it was done so that we would have the correct weight of both silver and gold, because back then you traded in like ounces or pounds, or like in Exodus it says, this had the value of 2 gerahs, whatever a gerah is, right? So in order to standardize the weight of silver and gold for transactions in silver and gold, the merchant town of Lydia formed the first coins, and coinage as a method of commerce instead of barter obviously prevailed and was born. But that all happened after Lehi left Jerusalem for the New World, and that's actually why it's an archaeological evidence for the Book of Mormon, the absence of coinage, not an archaeological evidence against the Book of Mormon. And so
and it's something interesting that people will bring up. They'll be like, well, it talks about coins in the Book of Mormon. It's like, no, that's a chapter heading that talks about coinage, but coinage isn't in the book itself, right?
Yes. And so this is where I'm going with Lisa, is that I just haven't had the time to do all of the full research. I've read coins in the Bible. I've done a lot of research on it, but I've become, frankly, just increasingly swamped getting these live events and all the other minutia of Ward Radio going. If he were interested in being a researcher for a series of episodes on this, we might be able to jive and do something cool. So reach out on the website. You might have to reach out a couple of times because we are pretty hammered on that website. But let us know what if you would be interested in doing that, and that's a way you can get involved right there. So how can I convince and persuade my hubs to go to a dude's events, meet y'all in person, or get more involved? He's more into coin. How can you persuade your husband? Hey, you're a woman. There's all kinds of ways you can persuade your husband that are a lot more powerful than coins. Hey,
I can
Yes,
I can only
truth
assume
bombs.
you're talking about sandwiches, Cardon.
Yes,
but I think whatever
sandwiches.
you're alluding to, it's gonna come across
Steak.
as sexist.
Yeah, it's coins or sandwiches, Lisa. I
That's
don't
what it
know
is,
what.
yeah.
I don't know what. So next super
No,
chat.
but apparently, I mean, if he watches that clip, he might be like, "Dude, Cardon knows his coins. Let's chat."
Yeah, for real.
Just a little shout out of a non-super chat again. The Family History Fanatics user said that it is so awesome. I am catching the stream live.
Oh, okay.
It is indeed awesome that you are catching the stream live.
Nice.
Okay.
Now Tina Ann, she says, "Love to see the Lord working through Alex, and he doesn't even know it yet." Oh, that's fascinating.
Somebody else to the chat made a good point. Said Alex O'Connor is using
Wait,
the LDS
did
claims
they make
like
a good point not via super chat?
yes.
Were they a member?
No.
Then it shan't be read.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I will
No,
just,
I'm just
I
kidding.
will- I will just happen to have a very similar thought as them.
Okay, just you can read it. You can read
When
it, bro.
Alex
We
when
will
Alex is
descend
using
from
it,
the celestial kingdom with the super chats to the terrestrial kingdom of the member comments to the telestial kingdom of those who are the unwashen and the unanointed.
so we're taking on the role of the Spirit now, not the Father and the
in
Son.
a
We don't
sheer
go
and
there.
unadulterated priestcraft. No, I'm just kidding. Keep going.
Alex O'Connor is using the LDS claims like this didn't happen, so I believe in the resurrection. But Christians already accept the resurrection, so he ends up arguing for us. Yep.
Yeah, based. Even non-members can make good comments. No.
Well,
Rarely.
Here's the thing. He's making good points, I think, because he's dealing in such good faith with this. He's actually
Yeah.
looking at the arguments and understanding where they're coming from and what they have to say, and looking at what strengths they might have. You know, because like you said, Luke, he isn't throwing this out here as if like, and look how stupid they are, right? Like you could read that into it if you wanted to, and I'm sure that there are going to be atheists who will do that, but he is saying, hey, this is a fascinating thing. I'm not convinced by it, but this is a fascinating thing that has at least the same level of validity as what you're talking about, if not more, you know?
No.
And so it's a really good tactic.
And he's doing it with a very tasteful mustache, you know? Like,
And a
I mean,
British
the accent, the accent does way more than the stash for him. But
yeah.
yes, on both counts.
Brad
so,
and Luke, I think you would look good with a mustache.
I've got a little bit started here because I haven't shaved yet.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, are you going to finish it, bro? How long would it take you to get a mustache?
It would not look as good as Brad's. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, Brad.
I don't know.
Brad
if
would
mine would
frame
look
mog. He would stash mog me.
Stash
as
mug.
the-
Thank you for getting the right type of
You
mug.
do have
Yeah.
good facial hair, Brad. You got great facial
True.
hair.
I don't know why. I think it's a Canadian defense mechanism. My body's just like, we must preserve life. But yeah, dude, I don't know if I would look good with a mustache. I had one for like a day at BYU. Like I grew one out because I had a beard for something, and then we shaved it off for charity. That was super fun at like this event at BYU. That was a blast. But that I think
Well,
was one of
you
the
could
few
do where you
times
have a
I've
full
had mustache.
stash and then just kind of a more stubble beard here. So there's still a contrast, but it's not like only a stash.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll give that a try, Luke. We'll see what Riley says. And
So someone who would
determine
not look good with the stash, I think, is Trent. That I don't think would work. But speaking of Trent, that's
Yeah,
my
let's
very
go
awkward
back.
segue back.
What
23:22 is where Trent gives part of a response.
Okay, so here we go. 23:22, part of the response. Trent Horn, go.
biggest elements between the resurrection claim and Mormonism. I could briefly run through them. We can unpack. Like I said, I don't want to go too on, but you threw a lot out there.
Yes, he did.
So a few elements there. One, the people who saw the golden plates, that doesn't do much for me. They could have been natural artifacts.
Yep.
In 1843, there were people who created a hoax set of plates called the Kinderhook plates.
Yes.
That Joseph went to engage and read. So those could have been natural artifacts. It could have been hoaxes. I'm not as impressed by that. The three witnesses who
Okay.
saw the
Whoa,
angel.
whoa, whoa,
Pause for a
What?
second. Pause for a second.
Pause. Lame.
Dude, this is the equivalent argument of saying like maybe Jesus had a twin, you know, or like they faked the resurrection. Like that's effectively what he's doing here, because even though he at least
I've met a dozen different twins in my life, so the fact they saw somebody that looked like Jesus doesn't really impress me. I mean, that's what he's doing here. Except
Effectively.
disappearing gold plates are less common than twins.
And the other thing is when he's talking about the Kinderhook plates, you got to recognize the vast difference between the Kinderhook plates and what the gold plates actually were, right?
The amount of them, like you can't
Yes.
just say, oh, there was a metal plate with writings on it, so they're the same.
Yeah.
No. The
We're
amount of them,
talking-
how quickly it was exposed, the fact that people did recant
And he
on
never
them.
translated them.
Yes, and we still have them.
He didn't claim
Like, how
to
do you
translate
take
them.
40 to 60 pounds of gold alloy and
Exactly, Luke.
disappear it? Like, getting it, he said,
but-
oh, maybe it's an
it's-
artifact.
it seemed-
because we found so many gold plates in stone boxes. Maybe it was just a natural artifact.
And how many Kinderhook
Ridiculous.
plates were there? Was it 6 Kinderhook plates?
I think
might have
was
been 8?
6 or 8. It's a vanishingly small number. Like it's sub 10 plates of these Kinderhook plates that are these small bell-shaped plates that had effectively squiggles thrown on them, and one of those squiggles looked kind of like a boat, which happened to match one of the symbols in Joseph Smith's Hebrew and Egyptian grammar, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like when you look at that, that has the translation of these Kinderhook plates right there. It's like, oh, cool. This is about like a descendant of Ham through the loins of Pharaoh and whatever blessing thing right there. It's really fascinating to look at, but these are not on the same level.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like saying, oh yeah, my kid made $10 at a lemonade stand, so it's just not really impressive to me that your kid made $100K last year in the business that they have. It's like, well,
yeah.
it's a
but
little
hold
impressive.
on. Like, it's not even about the number of plates, okay? Joseph Smith
Oh,
did not translate. He didn't translate the Kinderhook plates. He was basically presented them as a hoax because people wanted to try and trap him in a hoax. And he excitedly said, wow, this might be another record. This could be, I don't know if he said it was Zelf or it could be a Lamanite record he was hoping for, or whatever. And he's like, sweet, awesome. Shelves them, tries to translate it. Even approaches some lexicons thinking maybe I can do this a different way than I did the Book of Mormon. All right. But ultimately at the end of the day, he never put a single, he never published a single didn't put pen to paper and publish was the phrase I was looking for. Great alliteration. Didn't put pen to paper and publish anything he ever touted as a revelation from the Kinderhook plates, as the words of God as seen on the Kinderhook plates or whatever. And they sat there for so long, he finally said, I can't do anything with these, and then donates them to the Philadelphia Antiquarian Society. Okay? They're sitting in a museum because Joseph Smith donated them away. It's the only reason why we still have them. So to say that, oh, well, Joseph Smith, he translated the hoax of the Kinderhook. Stop it.
And
Stop
here's
it.
another thing to think about. Dude, if Joseph Smith had fabricated his plates and they were fake, why didn't he look at the Kinderhook plates and immediately say, these are fabricated? You know, like the fact that he was willing to entertain. Oh, dude, let's look at these.
Yes,
That
that's a
shows
brilliant point.
He
Yes.
straight up believes that metal plates are a thing that would be transcribed. Like this is showing the sincerity of Joseph Smith, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You're right on the money, Brad.
I agree.
That's exactly right. But
Your
Trent has more
opinion-
to say.
Your opinion fits with mine. Therefore, it is correct thing. It is
Yep.
correct thing.
The only
Obviously.
true and living opinion.
The only true
Yes.
opinion. Okay, so he continues with his natural artifact theory. I love you, Trent. I love you, but I don't like this one. But anyway, let's keep going.
When you look through, there's a lot of discrepancies. It seems like they had to go, and Joseph led them out there. Remember, he's already trying to convince them of this. Whereas with the apostles, all of them are starting with a blank slate. Jesus is dead. What do we do? Joseph is trying to convince these two people. One of them, Martin Harris, who is financially backing this endeavor, and so has some skin in the game on this.
Oh, by the
Pause.
way, as
Yeah, the
if,
apostles totally had no skin in the game, right?
Yeah,
When it
and
comes to
there
the
wasn't
resurrection.
a buttload of wealthy women like Lady Eclecta, to whom the second pastoral epistle of John is written to. Oh, it's not like Theophilus might have had anything to do with the book of Acts, or that Luke might have not been writing on behalf. Like early Christianity was loaded with people who sacrificed either their money or their time for the thing that they believed in. How is that any different than early saints who sacrificed their money and their time for this new thing that they believed in? Like this.
Well, he has a point. Actually, play him another 30 seconds or so.
Wait, you're
and I'll
not
say what
supposed to
his
be
point
defending him. He's not on the Daily Wire.
No, I like. Well, he's been a guest a number of times, not just on Matt Fradd, but on Ben Shapiro as well. But I like evidence for the resurrection, so I'm very happy to pump up evidence for the resurrection and support it where it makes good points.
Here we go. Let's see what he got to say. Continue.
This of this, and so they're praying a lot in order to see something. I think that's very different. When it comes to persecution, I'll leave on this point. I agree with you. People are willing to take risks for rewards. So Joseph Smith took a lot of risks. And I think, though, from his perspective, there were rewards he was seeking. He became a political leader in Nauvoo. He planned to run.
Let it go just a little bit. He finishes the point in like 10 seconds.
Okay. President. He acquired multiple brides, some of them being underage, as young as 14. So we have
smooth brain. Come on, stop it.
Now Brad can go.
Okay, go, Brad.
What does any of that have to do with the witnesses that were excommunicated from the church and ended up keeping their witness to their deathbeds? This is Frank Turek all over again. What are we doing?
And why did Joseph become a political leader? Because they'd been kicked out of like 3 other places, and so they needed to form some sort of strong, central, not anti-Joseph Smith government to protect themselves. Like they'd been killed at Hans Mill.
Yes.
And so like, who's going to be the leader? Well, it's going to be Joseph Smith, because he's the one with the vested interest in protecting us the most, and is the least likely to be an anti-Joseph Smith leader.
Well, here's the thing that I have never seen any of these guys acknowledge. And maybe someone out there has, but they always bring this up as though like, oh, Joseph running for president is some power trip. It's like, guys, there are documents of Joseph Smith reaching out to every single presidential candidate and saying, will you please do something to protect my people? Will you do anything for the people of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? We have been driven out with an extermination order against us. Like, where is our freedom of religion that the Constitution guaranteed us, right? And so he is actively seeking everyone's response from this. And some even write back. And none of them agree to help. And that is finally when Joseph Smith agrees, hey, you know what? I will run for president. I'm going to do this because if nothing else, I will draw attention to the way that we're being treated. I'll be able to draw attention to helping our people. They always do this crazy, like, oh, he's in it for himself. It's like, no. Just because maybe you would run for president for yourself doesn't mean Joseph is. And when you look at the documents, it doesn't support that narrative. So, yeah, it kills me when I see people argue.
And same thing
badly.
Same thing with the polygamy. It's like, okay, so when he was 17, he said an angel visited him with the gold plates. He does that for 4 years. He produces this artifact. He writes a freaking 531-page, 270,000-page book, along with over 100 other revelations. He goes into debt to build a temple in Kirtland. They get kicked out from here and from there, just so that 20 years later, he can marry a lot of women, but only have sex with a couple of them a few times max. That's your theory of what his motivation is.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you positive?
And here's the thing, Luke. It falls flat when you actually know the history. But I think people like Trent are relying on people not being familiar with the history. They're relying on throwing out this mist of darkness to keep them from looking any deeper and realizing just how wrong his arguments are. I don't know. Maybe does Trent know the history? I'm less familiar with him, guys. So, like, help correct me if I'm wrong.
But also,
yes and no. I mean, more than your average, but he's going to bring up something later that's going to show that he didn't learn from Jacob Hansen's debate, something that he should have taken away. And so I don't think it's been too deep of research.
Dude, also,
yeah, Cardon.
I don't like using progressive buzzwords, but sometimes they work. Like, it really, really bothers me when people ignorant to the physical persecution, the murder, and the violence done against early Mormons at the hands of anti-Mormons just make ignorant comments like this.
Well, Joseph Smith was nearly killed by General Lucas via lawful execution in 1838. If it weren't for Alexander Donovan
he was just
saying,
in it for the ladies. He was just in it for the ladies.
Yeah, so what was Joseph Smith thinking that night? Was he thinking, oh, darn, why did I wait 8 years to start having sex with all these women? I should have started. I'm going to die tomorrow at dawn from this. Shoot, I missed it. This was the whole reason I did this all. Yeah. And then he gets let free. Oh, thank goodness! Now
and the apostles,
wait
they were
another
just
4 years.
They were just
to
in
start
it for
having
Mary,
sex with
bro.
everybody.
They were just in it for the babes, dude. You know, the apostles were just in it for the money and the babes. Like, it's such smooth brain stupidity.
And you bring up another thing, Cardon. The way that he goes after, like, Martin Harris is the one witness that he can, like, try to throw under the bus. And it's like, bro, what about Thomas? Like, you've got doubting Thomas. Like, does he suddenly, because Thomas doubted, let's dismiss all the rest of the apostles? Or heck, Judas? Like, what are we doing here? Why are you trying to use this to then dodge all of the other witnesses? I think it's just because he doesn't have a good argument against this.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know why people can't just be honest. There's a million reasons why you can legitimately just disagree with Mormonism. You don't have to make up fake historical crap. It's okay to say, I trust the ecumenical councils worked. I trust that the authority of God was preserved in the Catholic Church. This is, how do you say ajena in English? This is outside or foreign to that pipeline and that authority structure. Therefore, I think it's heretical and dubious. It's okay.
Sure. Yeah, it is a viable thing for a Catholic to do. I don't think that it fits within the framework that Alex has set up, and that is why Trent is fighting back against this, right?
Well, because when you do start wanting naturalistic evidence, as atheists do, you have to start accepting naturalistic evidence, such as the witness of the 8 and the 3. Such as the witness of the 8 and the 3 witnesses that Christianity does not enjoy. So give credit where credit is due. Sorry, we don't have relics. The skull of John the Baptist, it's cool, buddy. You got that, we don't. Well, we got coffin canes. That's pretty rad too. But, like, you know, it's okay. It's okay to just say, I disbelieve. You know, you don't have to make up something fake. All right.
I wish that I saw stuff like that from Trent Horn. Because it's interesting seeing it from Alex O'Connor. He is not saying this stuff because he believes our truth claims. He is accurately laying out the evidence because he's saying this is an interesting thing that has all of this validity to it. It doesn't convince me, but it is something that has even more validity when it comes to actual evidence than what you're believing. So it's fascinating to watch.
Look at what being hell-bent against Mormonism. We're not hell-bent against Catholicism. But look at what being hell-bent against Mormonism forces an apologist like Trent Horn to do. In both his tone, his tenor, and apparently his knowledge of the history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, he's almost completely morphed into an atheist. He sounds exactly like a coffee shop Ezra Klein atheist scoffing at Christians for believing in a sky daddy.
Yeah,
you know, miraculously appearing 50 pounds of sheet metal gold isn't that impressive to me.
Well, and it's
I don't
like
really care.
when Trent Horn, the Catholic apologist, who claims he's trying to augment faith amongst believers, morphs into more of an atheist than Alex O'Connor, the YouTube atheist with 2 million subscribers, Like there's just a point where like if you've become the antithesis of the thing you're defending in order to attack the enemy of your enemy, you need to start realizing maybe this isn't an enemy. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Trent has to come up with something because he's debating an atheist on the resurrection. So he's got to say something. And interestingly, if you skip forward to an hour, 21 and 2 seconds, Trent Horn is going to come back around again and bring up a point that he brought up against Jacob in the debate, which is probably his strongest point against Jacob. Not because he actually had a good point to make, but that Jacob just didn't know the response to that particular point.
Now,
you have something before that, Brad?
I just want to point out the irony here that Trent Horn is so vehemently arguing against the Book of Mormon and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, when at their core, their message is that Jesus Christ is our Savior, that he died and was resurrected for real, and that Jesus is alive. It's so fascinating to me that he is now arguing against that because it's not exactly what he wants it to be. It's very fascinating to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anyway, here we are at what's the timestamp you told me again?
1:21:02.
Here it is, 1:21:02.
Hour 21:02.
Okay, here we go.
Golden plates. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
And by the way, one of the witnesses, David Whitmer, said God told him Mormonism was a false church. We don't find anything like that with the apostles.
Well, Joseph Smith's Mormonism was a false church, but he still saw an angel give the golden plates. The golden plates were real. The angel Moroni was real. It's just that Joseph Smith's religion was false.
And it could be natural explanation of Hayden, we're in the woods playing with our eyes closed, seeing with the eyes of faith, or demonic in the sense that, look, if I was the devil, I'd want to make a religion that says you don't believe Jesus is God and you don't even pray
come on,
to
Trent.
Jesus.
Oh, stop
Come on,
it.
Trent. Come on, Trent.
When was the last time that
it.
Trent did he read the title page of the Book of Mormon?
Like, that one's kind of unforgivable.
What does the title page of the Book of Mormon say, Trent? If you've studied it so well, what's
Jesus
going on
Christ, the eternal God, manifesting himself in all nations.
here? Okay.
It's only
I
one
guess.
out of about 16 or 17 places it says it. Yeah, more times than the Bible does. But going back to David Whitmer, Trent used this in the debate against Jacob, and Jacob didn't really have the answer for it. He said that God told him, as surely as he told him the Book of Mormon is true, that Mormonism was false. Actually, this was David Whitmer in his famous An Address to All Believers in Christ, kind of laying his full story out there. And what he said is, if you believe my testimony of the Book of Mormon, to the Book of Mormon, if you believe that God spake to us three witnesses by his own voice, then I tell you that in June 1838, God spake to me again by his own voice from the heavens and told me to separate myself from among the Latter-day Saints. For as they sought to do unto me, so it shall be done unto them. He's not telling them the church is false, or even that he needs to leave the church in terms of like an institution. He's being told by God to physically leave the Latter-day Saint group of people.
Interesting.
Physically.
Yeah.
Why might that be? Because David Whitmer was already estranged from the church, and this is when a lot of tension and turmoil were happening. The Danites were active at this time, and God told him to leave in June 1838. Then Danite activities are mainly during the summer and fall of 1838. Exact same time period. The Hans Mill massacre happens on October 30th, 1838, and Joseph Smith's near execution by General Lucas in the 1838 Mormon War was in November. So David Whitmer is already out of the church, and it makes a lot more sense for the Lord to be telling him not that this church is false, but to be giving him a distinct spiritual impression. Hey, things are about to get a little crazy. You should move. Because they already don't like you anyways. So you're not going to be a friend to either side. Lots of stuff's about to go down. Hop on out of there. So if anything, this is a prophecy by David Whitmer about the stuff that was going to happen to the church in 1838. Not a revelation from God on par with his witness of the Book of Mormon that the church is false. But Trent did it in the debate. He did it again here. And unfortunately, he apparently didn't watch Robert Boylan, Stephen Smoot, and Blake Ostler's review of his debate, because Stephen Smoot hit him very hard on it in that thing. So Guess
Love
Trent
that
didn't
guy.
watch that.
Mm.
Yep, good research. So I think that covers it with Trent, unless you guys had anything else you wanted to watch or cover.
Yeah,
okay.
well,
Some
go to the
super
next
chats.
super chat. Yeah, go to the next super chat.
I believe.
Oops.
So,
whoops.
Not Your Average Dan says, Gospel Inception, preach the restored gospel to atheists. Atheists use the restored gospel to preach to Christians. God is amazing. That's awesome.
That is hilarious. Not Your
Genius
Average Dan.
Aerospace Engineer says, hey, did you hear about all the declassified UFO documents?
Yes, they were smooth and tight like unto a dish.
Yeah, I saw someone say that Kolob was mentioned, and I don't know if it was a meme or if they were saying it for real. I haven't had time to look into it, and I'm like, wait a second.
Somebody said like the message from the aliens found in the UFO files that disproves the church, and it was just an AI picture of a UFO with Galatians 1:8 written on it. It's pretty great.
That's awesome. Jordan Brimley, he says, why do you think other faiths talk so much more about our faith than theirs?
They hate us because
If
they
theirs
ain't
was
us.
true, why wouldn't they just talk about it? Love you guys. Thank you, Jordan.
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead, Cardon.
But I don't want to give people the wrong impression. Usually they are talking about their own faiths. We just happen to see them when they're talking about ours for obvious reasons.
But what I will say is they do appear to talk about our faith an awful lot more than we talk about theirs. Right?
Yes,
Like
that is
Cardon
correct.
has pointed out many times, we don't dedicate any of our days at church to, hey, here's how to fight with the Protestants, right? Like this is not what we aim to do. We aim to bring souls to Christ. And I think honestly, all of us would be better off if we did that, if we were focusing on that. Because that's the other irony of what's going on with this debate with Trent and Alex here. It's just like, dude, focus on Christ, focus on bringing people to Christ rather than tearing down the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Focus more on bringing people to Christ, and I think you'll end up being more effective in the end.
Yeah. Word. I dig.
Mm-hmm.
I dig. So, Chris Breezy.
Oh, and then the final one.
Yeah.
The Chris Breezy says, Cardon shouting, he was just in it for the ladies, reincarnated Robin Williams style a little bit. At least that's what I heard.
Thank
Nice.
you.
That's a high
digging.
compliment, man.
I'm digging. He was great. He'd still be around making movies, man. Isn't that weird to think about?
It's true.
You know?
He died on my mission.
It's like, yeah, I think wasn't another weird one that kind of blew my mind wasn't Martin Luther King, wasn't he born the same year as Russell M. Nelson?
That I believe is true.
Yeah.
Oh,
isn't it?
I didn't realize that.
1923.
Yeah, like, so isn't it wild
Yeah.
to think that, like, if Martin Luther King had not been assassinated and presumably had his crazy healthy eating habits and running up the stairs like Russell M.
That one's
Nelson did.
Bednar.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, in the church office
they both
building,
did?
Russell M. Nelson would take the stairs instead of going up the elevator. David A.
Bednar would do the
was
bleachers at
the bleachers
BYUI
at
when he was
BYUI.
president there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just going to say that had Martin Luther King simply lived to be the same age as Russell M. Nelson, we would still have Martin Luther King around as of last year. Like, that's what assassination took from us. You know,
Probably a little earlier than that statistically,
okay,
but yes.
Still, it's like, holy smoke. That's like
Same with
wild to
Kennedy.
think.
Like John F. might have died during Trump's first term in office if he lived a normal life, natural life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's crazy,
That's interesting.
man. Yeah.
Hey,
And Charlie Kirk, unfortunately.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's yeah.
That one's crazy. That dude would have been president, man. Anyway, keep going.
We did have a comment that I found fascinating that I want to check. If we go back, do we have the timestamp for where we left off on Trent?
Yeah. We left off on
It's
exact.
like 120.
121:27.
Not the most recent one, but between what he was first saying and then the second part we skipped to.
Well, there's like 50 minutes of stuff in between those two.
Okay, shoot. There is somebody saying like, oh, I wanted to hear what they had to say about something between there. So that's too bad that we don't know exactly what they're aiming for.
Okay.
They brought it up a lot.
Well, let's go on to the
So,
next
yeah.
thing. Okay, so we got Matt Fradd, right?
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll move on to Matt Fradd.
Yeah, let's move on.
And
We did.
and
try.
as Cardon mentioned, I put together like a 4,000 word script, like a 30-minute something video addressing each of his 7 points in full, comprehensively, that he did. So we're not exactly going to go through all of those right now, but of course there was just a whole controversy. It relit the Daily Wire thing again, and people took particular issue with Andrew Klavan. I need to pull this up because I didn't realize we were
got it. No,
moving on to it.
No, it's on your
got it?
X. I got it up on the screen already, buddy. So do you want me to just play the
Well, let's go to the first thing that Andrew Klavan said. I'm throwing it in the chat.
Andrew
It's a
Klavan
post.
today on the Matt Fradd Mormon controversy shortened. I love Matt Fradd. He's not like these hateful people. You want me to play that clip, right?
No. Don't play the clip yet. That
hold
comes
on.
after.
Instead of putting the link in the Discord, I put it in the ChatGPT. Thank you, chat. You're correct. That is an X post. Okay. Now it is in the Discord. So this is what Klavan said first, because of course Matt puts out 7 Reasons Joseph Smith is a False Prophet. It's a Daily Wire article, opinion article, but it's just the script of a video behind the paywall, behind the all access paywall.
Okay.
And
so
of course
here's what Andrew Klavan
By the way,
said.
Cardon, your mic is low.
No, my mic's up, baby. I'm in the red practically.
Just according to the comments.
Yeah. Well, no.
Interesting.
I'm the loudest mic here. I'm at negative 12 decibels. But here,
Oh,
how
shoot.
y'all feel now? Huh?
There
like
we
that?
go.
Huh?
There's your
Nah,
booming
just kidding.
voice.
There's my booming voice. So
maybe they're just so used to you being like 5 decibels above everybody else
yeah.
that
So look,
Cardon actually balanced.
when
They're
it's
like, this
actually
is-
balanced.
so that's funny. So here's what Andrew Klavan said. He says, while my friend, real Matt Fradd, has been criticizing the LDS Church and Mormons and fake Mormons have been expressing outrage and fake outrage, I went to see, quote, the Book of Mormon by the at South Park guys. Here's my reaction essay to Spencer Klavan at the New Jerusalem Substack. Here's the New Jerusalem Substack, laughing at Mormons. And the article is, laughing at Mormons, should faith be exempt from ridicule? The New Jerusalem. No, actually, I don't think it should be exempt from ridicule if you will apply that rubric to yourself and allow us to make fun of your sacred cows, but you don't. So
Well, but Klavan does, and this is what people mistook. He said, recently my friend and colleague Matt Fradd, yet another one of these pernicious papist podcasters at the perfidious Daily Wire, so making fun of Matt Fradd lightheartedly, went on a rant. He calls it a rant. People kind of skipped over that. A rant against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Something about Mormon founder Joseph Smith being a false prophet. I really don't know. I didn't hear it myself. So he's kind of like dismissing it, calling it a rant. I didn't even read it. And then he says, but I sure heard about it. Whenever any of us at the Daily Wire make a comment critical of a religious doctrine, the people who hate the Wire, mostly anti-Semites, leftists, and other anti-Semites, try to gin up outrage to encourage people to cancel their subscriptions. Did you hear what Klavan said about pernicious papists? Are you just going to stand for that? I'm canceling my subscription. You should too. I suspect most of these people are frauds who never had a subscription to begin with, but maybe some of the anger is real. People can
And
get very
we have
touchy
seen
about
that.
religious topics after all.
So we've seen that in our own comments, right, Cardon, where we'll see people be like, well, man, I was going to go back to church, but then you guys said this mean thing on this episode, and now I'm removing my records, or anything like that, right?
yeah.
I think that's what he's talking about, is people doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, but this is the problem with the Daily Wire. And this is why, if that's what Andrew Klavan is saying, and who knows, maybe I just need to read the rest of the article so I don't misinterpret this.
It won't make you feel better.
But-
This is the best part of the article. But
Okay. Well, this is why you're
Well-
full of crap, Andrew. And let me tell you why you're full of crap on this on this case.
And then I'll defend him.
No,
Yes.
no, but there's nothing to defend when it comes to this basic mathematical principle. I have no problem with people making fun of. I'm a stand-up comedian. And who was a black comedian that died that was really funny? Kind of a rotund guy, very big. Neil. I can't remember.
DeGrasse Tyson.
No,
I
not
don't know.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
yeah, he's the famous comedian, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No, what was his name? He's the one that said, subjugate those ladies, insinuate.
Oh, Patrice O'Neill.
Patrice
That's who you're
O'Neill.
thinking.
That was it. So Patrice O'Neill said something really funny.
Why'd I have to recognize him off of that? Never mind, continue.
Okay. Patrice O'Neill said something very wise. He said a really good stand-up comedian should have half of the audience loving him, half of the audience hating him. Like, if you're really pushing that line, comedians are paid to find that line and maybe just go one step over it. Not two or three, but like one step over it. And with comedians, we're always dancing with the line of like what's appropriate, what's not, what's too far, what's not. So as a stand-up comedian, you have to be able to make fun of sacred cows. And at its root, all comedy is criticism. So you are inherently criticizing sacred cows. And none of us would have a problem. I wouldn't have a problem with the Book of Mormon musical if the same secularist, atheists, and South Park guys would have the guts to go write the Torah musical, to go make fun of Islam and write the Quran, or go make fun of now you did Mormons. Okay, turn around and go make fun of secular atheism. Go make fun of feminism. Go make fun of
the South Park guys have done all of that.
Sure, and you'll notice I'm not complaining about the South Park guys. I'm only saying
but those are the people that wrote the Book of Mormon.
Let me finish. Okay, I'm saying this is an example. As a stand-up comedian, I don't care what you say about Mormonism in your material, as long as we are one of many. And you're an equal opportunity offender. My problem with the Daily Wire is they're not an equal opportunity offender. They see fit to do hit pieces like 7 reasons why Joseph Smith is a false prophet, but they don't have 7 reasons why Judaism is a false religion. 7 reasons why these 7 relics of Catholicism are forgeries. 7 reasons why. No, they don't offend half and half. They just do anti-Mormon.
They're not a comedy outlet, so it's not. There's
but the same rules
do
apply.
Everything equally.
The same rules apply. It's not like just because they're not comedy, the same rubric of balance doesn't apply.
Here's the thing I want to say is like, look, I get that you want to be free speech absolutists. Let Matt Fradd say whatever he wants. Cool. Let him say it on his own show, and let's not put it under the Daily Wire masthead. Let's not be publishing this in order to like drive up the views.
Well, he's already under Daily Wire either way.
Okay, but Luke, I get this.
The Daily Wire masthead is a little bit different than his opinions are his own show, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Maybe you can draw the same sort of line with an opinion piece, in which case I'd say fire Matt Fradd. He's a religious bigot who has proved himself to be absolutely terrible in when the way that he's treating our faith, or have the dude back off. Like, or I guess, hey, if you don't want us to be unsubscribing, because there are real members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who have canceled their subscriptions over this kind of garbage. I am not out here campaigning to get people to leave, but I canceled my membership and I called in to the Daily Wire to let them know why. And it's exactly because of Matt Fradd's bigoted sort of garbage that he's throwing out here, because he can't fathom not going 3 weeks, I guess, without attacking our church. Bro, if you're bringing souls to Christ, stop doing it by trying to stomp on other religions. Focus on your own and build something good rather than trying to tear something down. It's really bugging me.
Or at least be somewhat consistent about it. There's some new stuff in the episode dropping tomorrow that's just like,
well, so here's my thing.
It's not well researched.
Like Luke, what's wrong with that rubric? Saying, I don't mind if you make fun of my religion. I don't mind if you criticize my religion. I don't know if the Daily Wire has 1 out of 10 of its posts being anti-Mormon. As long as you then turn around and point that vitriol at everybody else as well. But when they don't, and they only see fit to lambast Mormons and then never balance it out again, why should Mormons ever subscribe to that?
Okay, so it is simply that they let the hosts say what the hosts want to say. So they pick people that they think align well with the company, and then those guys have freedom of speech and aren't being told from the top that they have quotas of certain things that they have to talk about.
Let's not act like Daily Wire is a platform. It is an editor who runs an edited and curated library of content. that goes through an approval process.
But the hosts,
so these
it's
editors,
also very well known that the Daily Wire hosts disagree with each other all the time.
No, that's old news.
Stuff.
That's old news, old news, old news.
It's relevant old news.
Relevant old news. Everybody knows they have their own opinions. Now I'm talking to the editor. I'm talking to the editor because the editor is asking me to subscribe to the Daily Wire as a whole. Okay? If you want me, editor, to subscribe to the Daily Wire as a whole, you are going to edit and curate the content. So now I'm holding you responsible for whether or not I subscribe. And you see fit to approve and publish consistent anti-Mormon content without counterbalancing it with pro-Mormon content, without, evenly dispersing the anti-ness with anti-Judaism or anti-Christianity or anti-Catholicism or anti-Hinduism. So, Mr. Daily Wire person, you either are so incompetent at your job, you don't recognize glaring examples of religious bigotry on your platform, or you are complicit in the religious bigotry. So why should I give you my money for the thing you are editing? Why? Why should I do that?
I think it's kind of silly.
So, Luke, to maybe be on
this
your
is
side
one
for a
article.
second here.
It's not one article. This is the third thing this month where
as
we've
Brad
done.
pointed out, Matt Fradd makes the decisions for what he does in the studio.
And
so the
Luke's
other two are
defense,
Matt Fradd's videos. And this is the first one, actually. The Daily Wire has, to this day, in terms of like their news section, published a single one article. Out of the tens of thousands of articles they've done, they have published a article about how Joseph Smith was a false prophet. This does not warrant flipping out over. I'm sorry. Like, I get that we don't like it and all that stuff.
We're not flipping out over one article. We're not
So
flipping
Luke,
out over one article. We're flipping out over the article in conjunction with the video.
Yeah, but you were trying to pin that on the editor, who may not have even seen the other stuff. From Matt Fradd,
he's out of
working
control.
On the editing.
So he doesn't have a Daily Wire staff under his control.
Klavan said he didn't watch the episode of Matt Fradd.
So no one's in charge. So no one's in charge of Daily Wire. So
the brethren read every. We have made this point with the apostles so many times. No, President Nelson doesn't approve every BYU hiring. No, he doesn't approve every single Friend magazine article or every single email put out by the church or every book that Deseret book carries. We have made this exact same point you are now trying to argue against multiple times against the antis. Brad, I'm sorry. You're so polite. Please go.
Okay, so guys, here is what I want to say. I think when I look at this, both of you have very good points. Luke, you are correct. This is seemingly one rogue guy at the Daily Wire. It's not like we have Michael Knowles, Andrew Klavan, Ben Shapiro all getting together with Matt Walsh to then attack the church, right? So we shouldn't blow it out of proportion. I agree with you. But at the same time, I think Cardon has a very good point that it's hey, you know what? You're a company that built a whole lot of good faith with people, talking about how you shouldn't give your money to companies that hate you, right? And now that we have Matt Fradd on the Daily Wire, guess what? Your Latter-day Saint audience, which is a sizable one, they're going to hear everything said about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they're going to hear a lot of Matt Fradd stuff. There is an outsized amount of Matt Fradd now getting pushed at us because he's talking about us directly, right? And so, at least to me, when I look at this, it's like, hey, at the Daily Wire, you guys should be aware of what's going on. This is why I'm not pushing for any kind of campaign to like mass get people to stop paying the Daily Wire. I don't want to get a ton of people unsubscribing. But here is what I did call in and tell the Daily Wire that I was like, hey, here is part of why I unsubscribed. Because I actually unsubscribed before this article even came out. Because to me, we're starting to form a pattern, right? And what was it for me?
That's totally fine with me of like, these people aren't catering to me anymore. But if you start going like, they hate us, it's bigotry, it's clear, the whole company, everybody, it's a plan. Like many people have been saying this stuff to me on X, and Cardon was sort of saying it there. I'm like, okay. And I feel like I just put it in the Discord. The popular was it a libertarian YouTube channel that did the "Stop Making Me Defend Donald Trump" video? That's fairly hilarious.
Oh, I interviewed
I
this.
haven't seen
This is no. We did an interview with this guy.
Wait, can I finish my point before we
Yes,
get there?
finish
I'm
your
sorry,
point.
Brad.
Okay.
So
The thing
China
that killed
just
me when it came to what Matt Fradd did, what really pushed me over the edge was the stuff that we reviewed earlier, right? When he did his Joe Heschmeyer interview stuff, and then they started publishing these shorts that were so deceptively edited that were like, oh, we are now straight up publishing the God Makers with zero context, providing that this is outdated anti-Mormon cartoon buffoonery, right? Like, as I'm watching that, I'm like, okay, either you guys are so sloppy that you suck at your jobs and you deserve to be fired because you're bad at your job, or you are actually that malicious, right? And so for me, I'm like, cool, I don't want my money going anywhere near Matt Fradd. I do not like the guy in the least.
It's fair.
All I have seen from him, to be fair, is his attacks against my church and stuff like him advocating burning the copies of the Book of Mormon, right? Like, this is not a good impression he has made on me. And so that is what I let the Daily Wire people know. I'm, at the same time as I'm not telling people to cancel their subscriptions, I am going to say, if you did cancel your subscription, I think you should call in, because I think that the Daily Wire deserves to know why these things are happening. And who knows, maybe we turn out to be such a vanishingly small part of their audience that it doesn't really matter. But at the
People
end of the
have
day,
tried even, sorry, were you about finished, Brad?
oh yeah, I the final thing I want to say is, like, at the end of the day, I don't think that it's healthy if you're trying to build a hub for conservative media to be producing the kind of content that says, hey, you know what, let's go bash this subset of our conservative audience. You know, that's just a bad business move. Whether or not anything else is despite anything else we might say, I do think that. So yeah, that's kind of my final thoughts on it.
It was funny. The LDS Dems account on X was like, they started bashing Mormons and then they had to lay off a ton of their staff, because that was a story that also dropped this week. Like,
oh yeah,
I wonder if maybe alienating your audience isn't that good of an idea. It's like, actually, they laid off a lot of people over a year ago before any of this ever happened, and those layoffs seem to be bigger. And there are people, even Men Have on X is doing this a little bit, along with some other people, like, like so many of us are canceling. We're really sticking it to them. They're losing so much money. And like, honestly, guys, I don't think we're that relevant. Like, I think we punch past our weight, but there's like 20 Catholics per Latter-day Saints. So even if we're going 3 times higher than everybody else on like a per capita engagement in the Daily Wire and politics, we're still not that big compared to the evangelical Catholic and even kind of more like rational atheist crowd that the Daily Wire clientele is based in.
Now, at the same time, Luke, I will say, if I, as a subscriber, like, maybe this isn't going to show up to me as much, but if
squeaky wheels get grease,
But if I, as a subscriber to the Daily Wire, saw them start publishing stuff about how 7 reasons the Pope is the absolute worst, right? And I would be like, what are we doing? You know,
yes,
I would still think, hey, what's going on? This is a stupid move. And so, like, just because it's not us specifically, I think they're going to have other subscribers who are like, what's going on here? What do we benefit from? Why are we doing this?
Well,
but yeah, we have a couple super
this is
chats
my
that
fear.
apply to
We'll
this.
do the super
Go ahead,
chats,
Cardon.
but let me just put a bow on this, right? And this is not directed at you personally, Luke. But I have a fear in specifically the North American church, especially the North American church in the Western United States of America, that has felt comfortably aligned with the right, Republicans, the Daily Wire, whatever you want to call it, conservatism at large. Are we so in love with our anti-wokeness, our anti-leftism, our anti-secularism? Are we so in love with our anti-ness that we will accept being shot in the back by the Daily Wire? Because
well,
now,
and this is why
now something's becoming a false god.
This is why I have spent more time than any of y'all in the comments, on X, on here, debunking this video by Matt Fradd. I put 20 hours into research, 2 hours into recording, 10 hours into editing.
I respect that, Luke.
Okay, actually, research, I'm going to amend that more like 15 hours on editing and research. Because now I'm slightly giving it away. There's a reason why I had that much time to get it done. Let's just leave it at that. And so... why I could spend that much time on it in so short of a time. And so I am invested in combating this. I just feel like that little video that I sent to Cardon of stop making me defend Donald Trump. It's like, I want to hate Donald Trump along with you guys, but if you're saying he's banning Islam from the US, I'm going to have to correct that. And like, I'd love to get on board with you and agree. I agree 100% with everything Brad said. I agree with what a lot of the comments say. I agree with anybody canceling their Daily Wire subscription because they're like, this isn't aligning with me anymore. But if you're starting to go out and try to preach and advocate and post on X all the time that they hate us, that it's a company-wide policy, that this is just as bad as anti-Semitism, that we may as well, they might start doing book burnings next if they take over the country or win the next election. It's like, I'm going to have to put on the brakes there, okay? Like, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to have to jump to their defense, even if I don't necessarily want to.
Okay. So this
Understandable.
comedian, do you want me to play this clip then, Luke? Or
the one of Andrew Klavan that I put up?
No, the Stop Making Me Defend Donald
Yeah.
Trump.
Andrew
Sure.
Klavan's
Just
next
for
thing was
just
great.
for comedic.
Yeah, this is Lou Perez. This came out like a decade ago, but this was a great short that Reason TV made. Oh no, sorry, We the Internet TV. This was great. I interviewed this guy on FM 98.1, I think.
So China just approved for Xi to be president for life, and Trump says, maybe we have to give that a shot someday.
Like, enough is enough. How do people ignore that?
I'm pretty sure he was joking.
Joking about being president for life.
Yeah. If you listen to the audio, everybody's laughing. They're clearly in on the joke.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you like Donald Trump?
No, I think there's a lot wrong with the guy. It's just this happens not to be one of those things.
I cannot believe I work with a Trump supporter.
What?
Let's get out of here, Jenny.
And it just goes on and on
for
and on
Hillary.
like that, example after example.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's a little bit what I feel like in this situation. They're like, the whole Daily Wire hates us. Well, actually, oh, you just love the Daily Wire, don't you? You just love them so much. Everything they do is great for you. It's like, no, I didn't say that. I'm just saying they don't all hate us.
you're
There's
a
not
shill.
like a
You're a
policy. They
shill.
don't get together in their monthly
You
meetings
grab the
and be
toe
like,
jam
okay.
from in between Matt Fradd's toes. You know what I'm saying? You mix it with your Ovaltine. No, it's
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
So
What, the
I feel
Ovaltine
like the
or
guy
the-
in that video. I am a Trump supporter, by the way. Just a parallel example.
Yeah, Luke, you might
that's
be the most conservative one on the stream, huh?
Jeez.
Politically, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wants
okay,
to
I
invade
should've-
Mexico. No, I just
What?
I was like, he wants to invade Mexico. You know?
So,
You mean South New Mexico?
Yeah.
okay.
Hey, the
let's
Gulf is
see.
already ours. Read the
Yep.
super chats.
The Gulf of America, wonderful place. Now, one lower light. Should I get into some super chats?
Yeah,
really quick
bust
here?
out the super chats.
Yes.
real
'Cause
fast.
we
I'm
haven't-
sure there's a lot.
Yeah, and then Luke, Andrew Klavan's next video is much better. So I appreciate what he does later. So, one lower light says, "Can you guys put your War in Heaven veteran design on a baby onesie?"
Yes, that would
Oh,
be
that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Jewberry Green says, "If Andrew Klavan didn't listen to what Matt Fradd said, then why is he telling us how to feel about it?" That's kind of how I felt when I read what Andrew Klavan was saying. I was like, you just admitted to not having listened, so maybe
Yes,
maybe
I
spend
agree
more
with
time
this part.
telling Matt
Yes.
Fradd not to attack us so that you don't have to hear about it, rather than telling all of us how we should feel about it to also try to silence the others, right?
I do agree with this part. You are very right about this. However, and there is one caveat. When Andrew Klavan said, yeah, I watched the Book of Mormon show and I thought it was funny, so you guys shouldn't be offended by stuff, people took that to mean he was saying, I watched something offensive to you guys and wasn't offended by it, so why are you offended by it? But if you actually read it a little more, he's saying there was stuff in it that was very offensive to me as a Christian, because they kind of go after the whole thing, not just Mormonism. And I found even the anti-Christian parts funny. And so he was actually saying, I went and watched a show that attacked my own faith and was able to find the humor in it. And so I think we would all do well just to kind of turn the temperature down a little bit. Yeah. But I can totally see how people read that as, I watched the Book of Mormon and wasn't offended. What's the big deal for you guys?
And honestly, when you think about it that way, how effective of a tool is outrage, really, right?
Very.
Well, I mean, it's an effective tool in the moment, but not in the long run, right?
True.
And so that's where I look at like, hey, if we can find better ways to engage with this kind of stuff, let's do that rather than just like getting up in arms and like letting our pride get in the way. But that's not me saying that you have to keep a subscription to a channel that is now producing content.
I just want to not give money to people that hate us or think we're stupid. I want to take the Daily Wire at its word, and I'm only doing what they told me. Stop giving money to companies that hate you. And if they want to prove they don't hate me, they will either curtail, contextualize, or counterbalance the anti-Mormon material. It's that simple.
Or hire Luke. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That is the other option.
We know that they have member employees at the Daily Wire, but I would like to see one of them behind the mic. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be a good start.
Oh, speaking of, Jordan Brimley says, hey, I canceled Daily Wire after 3 years, and now I donate to you guys.
Yes, Jordan
There you
Brimley.
go.
See, I'm on board for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Luke's like, that works. Mcash232 says, problem is, this is one more data point in a pattern. I like Ben Shapiro, but my favor for the Daily Wire as a whole has significantly cooled the past year. That's I think a really good point, that it's like the data points are starting to stack up towards like, oh, it looks like we're going to be making more of this. One Lower Light says, you guys are overcomplicating this. I unsubscribed from Daily Wire because I don't want to fund anti-Mormon content like Matt Fradd's article.
Hey, you want to say I'm overcomplicating this, One Lower Light? Watch me block you in the simplest way possible.
Cardon, you agree
No,
with
I'm
it, dude.
just kidding. I'm totally kidding with you. I'm totally just kidding.
See, he's irrational. Don't listen to him.
LDS Response says, like the stream. Oh, hey, awesome. No, I'm just kidding. What he said is, first Candace, now Fradd. Is someone sabotaging the Daily Wire? I saw the same thing with the Blaze TV, Ali Beth Stuckey, when Glenn opened to investors.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, and wasn't Elijah, what's his name?
Schaefer
He was there, too.
Was at the Blaze. He left a good while ago.
Yeah.
Not
but
as
there was a
familiar with
time
him, but yeah.
where both of those two were pretty anti.
Dude, actually, I just
At some
looked up-
point, all the
wait.
established people seem to have a crazy on their network.
Do you guys know what One Lower Light means?
Is
Let
this
the
about
lower lights be
the-
burning?
the hymn?
Well, I guess, I don't know. I just looked up. I was like, well, there has to be some meaning behind One Lower Light, right? So I just typed in on Google, One Lower Light LDS. And then there's a talk called We Are the Lower Lights. And it says, we are the lower lights to help people align their life with the Savior and return to Him. And basically, brightly beams our Father's mercy, His love held. Yeah, that apparently the lower lights are like, there's actually some really cool symbolism behind that. Are
And
you
it's a great quartet. It's a
Yeah.
great quartet.
I sang that in church on Sunday.
Really?
As part of a double quartet. It was awesome.
Nice.
That's one of my
Ooh.
favorite hymns, man.
Okay. All right. Next super
Ooh.
chat. Sorry, keep going.
I like your word now. That's the only thing I know about it, but I like it.
I have a good one, dude. I have a very good word. Sean Grover says, Daily Wire does seem kind of hypocritical, always complaining about anti-Jewish hate and anti-Christian hate, but then publishing anti-LDS hate. Yup.
I think saying that the Jews are secretly controlling Trump is a little more anti-Jewish than just publishing something saying, hey, I think Joseph Smith is a false prophet, which is like a sincerely held religious belief for everybody who's not a Latter-day Saint.
Oh, so as long as it's a sincerely held religious belief that Jews were eating Christian babies and blood libel's real, now it's all of a sudden okay?
If you're not a Latter-day Saint, then you probably should think that Joseph Smith was a false prophet. Like, I don't know how you would
here's
do
my
it.
problem, Luke. Most people just don't know. Most people don't even have an opinion. And so when I see Matt Fradd out here doing everything in his power to poison the well, I'm just grateful that, like, hey, I actually had people on my mission. I served in New York. Literally, the Book of Mormon, the musical, their theater, that was in my area. So I literally was right there. We taught a gal who went and watched the show, and that's how she heard about the church. And she ended up joining the church, and it was awesome. And
that's the thing. It's an article that not very many people are going to read, and the ones who do are mostly Latter-day Saints hate reading it. And it's a video that's behind a paywall, so not too many people are going to see that. And then the video we do debunking it.
Its efficacy. We're not arguing against its efficacy. We're arguing against the intent and the ethos behind it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with somebody who's Catholic and thinks Joseph Smith is a false prophet explaining why they think Joseph Smith is a false prophet.
I'm fine with
even
that
if
as
they
well.
have bad research.
That isn't what happened, Luke. What happened was he was publishing like debunked lies about us as if they weren't, right? Like those clips that were spliced
I don't
up.
think Matt knows. See, this is me
Well,
dogging
then
on
he
Matt
should.
now. I know he should.
Well,
I don't
that's
think
fine.
he does.
And again, we're apples and oranges here, bro. I want to compare apples to apples. I too don't have a problem with a man who has mistaken ideas and bad research, like Matt Fradd. I too don't have a problem with him publishing and having opinions on his mistaken research. That's his freedom of speech. I have a problem with giving money to the institution whose responsibility, as insinuated by the title of editor, is to curate that content, contextualize that content, or counterbalance that content, not contextualizing, counterbalancing, or curating that content and allowing a steady stream, okay, of anti-Mormonism to come out under their banner. So now it's not about Matt Fradd. You notice this whole time, I've never said, stop Matt Fradd, unsubscribe from Matt Fradd. I've said the Daily Wire. Sure.
I have, but I might have like a false image of who Matt Fradd is based on what I've interacted with. Luke, am I wrong about him being like bigoted towards the church, or like, because you've interacted with a lot more of his stuff than I have?
He said we should burn the Book of Mormon. What other soundbite do you need?
I don't know how you
However,
get past that, right? Like, so
it's
I would
true.
Say, yeah,
it's true.
Unsubscribe from Matt Fradd, right? Like, let's not be so diplomatic, Cardon.
But he's not bigoted in the sense that he will only feature people who don't like the church. He was the one that hosted Trent Horn and Jacob Hansen on the Book of Mormon debate. And he even asked Jacob Hansen, like, okay, one final question for both of you. Steelman the other person's side. You know, like he was being very fair, very ecumenical. If he was really purely like, those Mormons, they're not worth it, I hate them, they're completely illegitimate, he wouldn't have invited or allowed somebody to come on to make the strongest case possible for Mormonism.
That's right.
Even after that,
that is a good point. This was prior to him being on the Daily Wire, though, right?
About a year and a half ago.
Okay.
A year and 8 months ago.
He said to burn our books. And then when you went
he
didn't
tell people to go out and burn the books. Okay. He said I would be fine burning Mormon books.
Okay,
like I personally would burn them.
Potato, book burning, book
that is a rough
burning.
distinction.
Okay, so glad you made that distinction, Luke. He said that whatever version of book burning he was in favor of.
Well, like Hassan Piker, it would have been worse if he had told a specific group of people to go out and steal from the
regardless of who he
versus
said it
simply
to.
saying I'd be down with that.
Okay.
On the New York Times.
The words book burning in conjunction with the words Book of Mormon left his lips. And then when confronted about it by you and Jacob, he doubled down.
But he doubled down by saying, but wouldn't you guys want to burn like Catholic books? So he fully expected. No, he did. You weren't there. He did. He was just like, isn't that just what people think about stuff?
Did he really have that expectation?
Yes. No, he was trying to get Jacob Hansen on his side and was like, no, like, wouldn't you, like, if there was a book that you thought was demonically, like, wouldn't you want to burn that book too? And Jacob was like, no. And he's like, huh, that's weird.
No, Luke, I got to save you.
So
Luke,
funny.
You're my best friend. I got to save you from this. I got to save you from the grips.
I'm your best friend.
I got to
Thank
save you from the grips.
Stop making me defend Donald Trump.
Listen,
Can we just go to Karen Bertuzzi so I can get mad at somebody instead of having to be?
We will. But Luke, I just got to make this analogy. Okay. If I show up and the guy's in a white hooded shirt or hooded hat, a Klansman hat, and he's got a Confederate flag behind him, it's a pretty big dog whistle about his racial views, right?
Yes.
And then, if he says, "Oh, we gotta burn a cross and we gotta, do physical violence to the black people in our neighborhood," and he overtly states that, and violence and blacks in the same sentence come out of his mouth, and then you go to have a debate with him, and then he says, well, you generally want to lynch people you disagree with as well, and you probably have offensive flags behind you, and you also believe in violence against your enemies too, right? I would look at him and I would say, dear God, no.
But
no.
that would change my opinion if there was actually a KKK member who then two black guys show up to have a cordial debate on his YouTube channel about why black people are actually fine. And then he said, like, yeah, so wouldn't you guys want to join the Black Panthers and also put crosses on our yards too? Like, isn't that something you guys want to do? Like, I'd be like, you don't seem to understand this whole thing very well. You're supposed to not like us doing that.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
I mean, at least to bring this home in a way that hopefully is positive. I mean, if Matt Fradd were to have Jacob Hansen on again and be like, hey, we've been having calls to the Daily Wire in which people are saying they're canceling their memberships because I'm making so much anti-Mormon content. Come on and tell us your position for yourself. I think I would respect that, right? But if we get like more Matt Fradd rants about why the church is bad, then I'm just going to be like, man, Daily Wire, what are we doing? So that's my hope, is that it goes that direction. Because they did repost the discussion on PragerU.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
What? Yeah. They reposted the PragerU discussion with Shabbos. What is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Shabbos Constanbaum.
Yeah. And Cardon.
That was a very interesting response.
Yeah. So they shared that, that's a positive thing. But hey, how about we produce some of that content too? I think that's a much healthier thing. But yeah, anything else about this particular one?
No, we can move on to Cameron. Super chats. Then
the
Cameron
second thing
Bertuzzi.
Andrew Klavan said was good.
Oh yeah,
the
sorry.
post that I did.
You pull that up, and I will read the super chats as you get it up.
Okay.
Mac TR says, "Love you guys. Thanks for all the great content. Does this super chat count as a fast offering? LOL."
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, no, please don't on your ward tithing slips be like, this was a donation to Ward Radio. Like, don't do that.
No, it doesn't count as fast offerings. It counts as indulgences. You are now absolved.
There you go.
You are now absolved of one sin. Had it been a bigger super chat, maybe law of chastity violation. An even bigger super chat, substance abuse. It's indulgences. What can I say? Obvious humor here. Whoever just clipped me, this is obvious humor and satire. Okay. So anyway, read the next three super chats, and I'm going to pull up Andrew Klavan, and then we can move on to Cameron Bertuzzi.
So G Rourke says, there are 4 lights. We will have to do an episode about the lights, and that would be interesting. That referencing the one lower light thing we were talking about earlier.
Okay, rock on.
LDS Response says, missed yesterday's live with Christopher Blythe. I had topics I wished he'd touched on. Baptism for healing, Jesus married, Christ's children. Dude, that sounds like an awesome episode.
Yeah, yesterday with Chris Blythe was freaking cool, man.
I wish I could have been there for that. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome, dude. We're gonna be publishing a book. We're gonna be making a comic book. We're gonna be. Dude, we got some big stuff coming down the pipeline.
Fantastic.
With Chris Blythe. It's gonna be really fun. So yeah, keep going. Next thing.
Okay, Kyle1 says this month's membership money goes to deconversion therapy for Luke to escape the Daily Wire cult and get brainwashed deprogramming. We love Luke. Kyle, no. He's not brainwashed. He just has a different opinion.
No, he needs to be saved.
It was interesting seeing a comment.
Just kidding.
What?
I said, no, he needs to be saved. This is an intervention, Luke. We do this because we love you. We do this because we love you.
It was interesting that there's a person in the chat that said they never have had an interest in the Daily Wire, and then said, come on, Luke, why are you defending this? It's like, well, maybe because it's something that I actually have an interest in and have knowledge about, and so I can speak more authoritatively on it than somebody who has no opinion and has no background with this at all and doesn't really know anything about it, hopping in and trying to like dictate. And that's kind of what Andrew Klavan was kind of pushing back on too. It's like all these people who don't interact with Daily Wire at all, and then once they say one thing about Mormons, then all of a sudden they're experts on how much they talk about us, what they tell about us, what their internal company policies are, like all of these things. And it's just like, come on, like let's calm down.
All right,
everything
Kyle
will be fine.
Kyle has clarified it was in fact a joke.
Oh, that's funny.
So no worries.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so we're all caught up on
one
Super
from
Chats.
the Andrew video, and then we can
then we'll move on.
Go
so
to
here
Cameron.
we go. Great job getting these clips too, by the way, bro. Great job getting these clips. I so appreciate this. We got to go back to calling you Clip Master Luke. You know, he was cool-headed Luke there for a while. Now we got to go back to Clip Master. So here is Andrew Klavan via
They
X.
gin up the anger of people who are upset. I got one letter I got a bunch of letters actually, but I got one in the Klavan clapbacks from Scott saying, Dear flawless, hairless master of the feather quill, I read your Substack article. I'm not someone who hates the wire. I'm a lifetime member. I'm not outraged. I'm not fake outraged. I'm just annoyed. There are plenty of leftist targets to focus Daily Wire's attention on. The friendly fire on other Christians and people of faith is just unnecessary and leaves us feeling annoyed. Annoying the hand that feeds you is bad business strategy. Perfectly valid and reasonable thing to say. I want to say this. I love Matt Fradd. I think he is a really, really wonderful person. And I think he is a deeply religious man and a true adherent to the faith. He's not like these hateful people just slinging mud in the name of God. He is a true believer in Jesus Christ.
Except for he is actually doing exactly that. Slinging mud
now
in
be
the
careful,
name of God. He published the Godmakers cartoon. I can't say I'm not anti-Jewish and quote
Producer
Mein
Maria
Kampf.
did. Producer Maria did. And Joe and I were laughing about that afterwards. Like Joe was seriously considering throwing Matt Fradd under the bus, Daily Wire under the bus for how they clip those things up when I was at the Catholic conference. Yeah. I talked to him like one-on-one. We were laughing about it.
If he did.
Yeah. Yeah, we were laughing about it. He was like, "Oh, that was bad. I hated what they did to me there."
Then they can throw producer Maria under the bus, but no one ever suffers the consequences.
You have to be so careful with this, though, Cardon. This is exactly what they do to us with Joseph Smith's polygamy and Brigham Young's racism. They go, how in the world could you possibly justify this? Nothing else in their life makes up for any of this.
I'm not strawmanning what happened to us. I'm not making up a fake story. Matt Fradd said, burn our books, then doubled down.
Joseph Smith married other people's wives. Brigham Young said that blacks were second class basically multiple times. Okay, so we have to
Number one, I want to
spread
hear
the
rest
charity
of what
around.
Says. Number two, I do want to point out, Cardon, we are dealing with a very small slice of Matt Fradd's content because it's the stuff aimed at us, right? So I think Luke has a point there. And this is probably what Klavan is saying here. He has interacted almost exclusively with the content that wasn't aimed at us, right? He mentioned not having seen this episode that where the rant happened, right? Where you have Matt Fradd ranting about how we're so false.
Andrew Klavan tells me is why emotionally my opinion of annoyance is wrong, I don't want anything
he said
to
it was
do with
correct.
Okay, great. Good.
Here's where I think
then
we should
show
listen to
me
the rest
some
of what he has to say.
We're going to listen, and I'm just telling you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for him to say, look, we're going to counterbalance some of this. I don't think it was wrong. I think he's a loving guy, and like any good system, there's bad apples, but we're going to counterbalance some of the bad apples. Like, this is just basic emotional intelligence. Again, I'm not saying don't say it. I'm not saying it is wrong and you're not allowed to have opinions that offend me. I'm saying if you want my money and you want to be able to criticize me, my friends, my family, and my faith, I only expect consistency through contextualization, counterbalance, and what was the other C? Consistency or contextualization,
first one.
counterbalance,
Condemnation.
No, it wasn't condemnation.
Catholicism.
No, yeah. So anyway, let's see what he's gonna say here. He continues. Go.
People just slinging mud in the name of God. He is a true believer in Jesus Christ,
who never endorsed what he's doing. But let's keep going.
He gave me a rosary, which I've used many, many times to my improvement. And but I have to say, I don't agree that he should be doing this. I'm not saying, oh, it's a terrible thing. I'm just saying, people love their religion. It sustains them. We all know we have disagreements between our creeds. That's part of religion. But if Mormons aren't blowing people up, leave them alone. That's why I pick on religions when the religion is producing something bad. And you can always make the argument that theology you disagree with leads to something bad. But the problem with that is that when you take away something that you disagree with in somebody else's faith, you might think you're doing something good because you're ripping something out of their hands, but you might actually be taking the step away from them that's going to lead them to something closer to the truth. Even if what they're thinking is false in your opinion, it might be false in such a way that leads them to something true.
See, this is true ecumenism here. And the reason I have a counterpunch only policy on this program is because I don't care if it's frickin' Vishnu. I don't care if it's the consubstantiated pagan, non-pagan Trinity. Okay? Anything that takes you out of self-worship and first into worship of something else outside you is the first step. I love that analogy. And anything that puts you as Christ as the example of better behavior, that's the second step. We can argue about whether or not he's consubstantial with the Holy Ghost and with God, or whether he's a monarchical or a modalist God or whatever. We can argue all that third, fourth, and fifth and sixth step stuff too. All right, but the first step is getting out of the muck of secularism, consumerism, self-worship, and idolatry. Second step is into Christianity, then different modes of Christianity. And faith is a fire to be kindled, not a freaking team sport to be tailgated, And if that's what you're doing, you're ending up not destroying Mormonism, but you're destroying faith.
Yeah.
And so that's what Matt Fradd is doing, which is destroying the social fabric, not building it. And conservatism at its root, and Luke, this is true. At its root, we still have the same battle that was being fought during the French Revolution. The reason why we even say left versus right is because in French Parliament, the secularists and the atheist academics were sitting on the left, and then the clergy and those that were in favor of the church and of faith, and frankly the monarchy at the time, were the ones that were sitting on the right, and those two were at odds with each other. And that is still the Joker versus Batman of modern society, is secular academia versus faithful religious Christianity, okay? And if you end up thinking you're going after Mormonism, you're not. You're becoming an agent of atheism. That's what you're doing. So don't say you're conservative or don't say you're Christian. One of those two. But you don't get to say you're conservative and you're Christian and then just start dogging on everybody else's faith.
Dang.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Okay. He wants so badly to get to Cameron Bertuzzi that he's just like,
Yes.
I am going to say.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to say it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
No, I like it. Does make sense. Which is why I posted that one. And it was kind of fun. Right as I was hopping on, I saw that Andrew Klavan quote tweeted me, which was
nice.
I did enjoy that.
That's
hey,
awesome.
Good job, buddy.
And positive. Honestly, that's the other thing is like, let's find a way to build as many positive interactions as we can out of all of this. And this doesn't mean we have to agree with everything people are saying, but let's find a way to like disagree in a positive way that can build relationships rather than disagreeing in a way that we tear each other down.
Yeah.
Which is why I felt like it'd be better to do a ton of research on Matt Fradd's article and then put out a thing explaining why he's wrong, instead of just keyboard warrioring at him that he's a bigot and hates us and all that stuff without explaining. Maybe he's never had it explained to him. I mean, he should know it, but I think he doesn't. Yeah. I think he doesn't. I don't even know if he did all the research for the article himself.
Oh no.
I think it might have been ghostwritten, honestly. So
Okay. Like producer Maria again.
No, there's this other guy. Somebody sent me a clip. They do like a behind the wire thing where they talk to like employees that are like the producers. And some guy was like, "Oh yeah, the Mormon stuff's kind of blowing up." I actually wrote helped him write an article a little bit ago about Mormonism, and it's like definitely this article. So I think that random Daily Wire employee was the one that actually wrote the article. And Matt Fradd just put his name on it.
But now that I've said we should try to be better, let's get into the Cameron Bertuzzi stuff.
Now the fire can be directed outside of the house a little bit here. My goodness.
Hey, by the way, thank you, Luke. Thank you for enduring the past 30 minutes.
Yes.
The problem is I kind of like it.
I'm buying you.
Being like the only one that has a certain opinion in a room.
It's fun. It can be fun, man. And
when you know you're right.
For our show. When you know you're right, yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm better than all you people. No, I'm kidding.
That's funny. Nice. Okay, so are you going to put this link in the Discord right now so I can pull it up? Oh, while you're doing that, I've neglected our sponsors here. Before we go any further, I just want to make sure that I give a big shout out to everybody that makes this possible. Big shout out and thank you, muchísimas gracias, as we say in Argentina, to Scripture Notes. All right, get more revelation in less time. I prefer the better slogan, the coolest way of reading your scriptures online. These guys have been a very faithful and generous partner for a really, really long time. And if you want to know more about them, please make sure that you guys visit them at scripturenotes.com. They're the guys that provide us with all of our scriptures on screen during our videos. And as I said before, they are super helpful. So thank you very much, everybody over at scripturenotes.com. Also, want to give a big shout out to the Guild at Angel Studios. All right. They are a Christian streaming company that provides all kinds of family-friendly entertainment to families searching for alternatives from, a lot of the woke nonsense that you get out there. And they actually provide us not only with funds for all of the different activities we do and also free merch and giveaways for all of our viewers at a lot of our in-person meetings and in-person events like the takeover and so on and so forth. We still have 7 of the Angel Studios giveaway shirts. If you guys order one of our War in Heaven veteran hats or one of our shirts in the Ward Radio merch store, okay, and you put in the coupon code Free Angel Shirt. It's all caps Free Angel Shirt. You in the message bar, you have to do this, guys. In the message bar, make sure you say what your shirt size is. And if we have that, we will give you a free Angel Studio shirt. These are actually pretty hip shirts. And
they're super cool.
Yeah, like they're actually made out of really good t-shirt material as well. This will be going in your box with you. So thank you very much, Angel Studios, for your generosity, as well as our boys at Go and Do Travel. We are collaborating with them on an LDS comedy cruise and the Wavemakers 2026 LDS Podcasters Cruise. For more information on Go and Do Travel, please make sure you guys check them out at goanddotravel.com. Now hit us. Is it all in the Discord, Luke? Or Brad?
Yes.
Before you get there, we have a couple of people on, what is it called? A couple of new memberships that I missed, Cardon. Can you pull those up?
Yeah.
We need to throw some W's in the chat.
Oh, I got you. Okay, hit us.
Yeah.
Who are we putting in the chat?
There's one from a lot earlier, and then there's Roger Lloyd Barnes. So I don't know where the one from a lot earlier is. I can't get to it.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh, here it is. MagTR. MagTR. We've received the records from Mag TR and Roger Lloyd Barnes, 9247. Everybody would like to welcome these two brothers and sisters into the Ward Radio Wigwam. Please put 2 W's in the chat. Thank you very much, guys, for joining the Ward Radio Wigwam. We're happy to have you here. Also, oh yeah, no more super chats. Okay, cool. So Luke, take us away, bro. Take us away.
Yeah, so Cameron Bertuzzi from Capturing Christianity, who hosted the Jacob Hansen debate with Joe Heschmeyer on the Great Apostasy, a decently big YouTube channel as far as Christian YouTube goes. He just decided that this week was anti-Joseph Smith week, I guess.
Dude, he was
all
on
of a
one.
sudden, he was on one. So the link that I put is not the very first thing
It's on the screen. Yeah,
that he posted, but it was kind of the first thing that kicked this all off.
Yeah, what's going on there? I saw a post. I actually texted Cameron. I said, hey, I didn't realize you were in talks with Hayden, because I think he said something about some debate falling through or whatever. And I said, if you want suggestions on great LDS apologists to talk to, I know who you should talk to and also who you should avoid. There's some people I think that should be miles away from defending our faith. And so, yeah, I haven't gotten a response back from him. But, yeah, fill me in. What's going on over there? What's going on?
Yeah, so apparently they reached out to Hayden Carroll. Let's talk with Hayden Carroll. There was some back and forth. The topic changed a couple times. Then Hayden said yes. And then he looked at it more and asked the person he was going to be debating, this guy named Ethan, very nerdy guy, getting his PhD in like Mariology, something Catholic related right now. And
Nerds are great.
And Hayden was like, wait, this is not going to be what I thought it was. So then Hayden backs out. So Cameron decides that now it's time to... Yes, Brad?
I just want to tell you how suspicious it seemed to me. To watch, having known that Hayden was talking to them about doing possibly doing a debate, and then saying, yeah, we're going to do one on the Book of Mormon and where it comes from, right? And then I see Cameron Bertuzzi start going off on, why will no Mormons defend Joseph Smith? And I'm like, what was the subject that you were planning to debate? The way you're
Joseph Smith,
this,
but they were going to call it the Book of Mormon, so then they could just spring all the Joseph Smith stuff on him.
Yeah, and
yep.
I actually talked with Hayden Carroll a little bit about this, and he was telling me that he initially was like, cool, if we want to talk about Joseph Smith, I want to be able to compare him to your church fathers,
yes.
right? And this has got to be a level playing field. And they were like, no, we're not doing that. We want to do it this way instead. And he's like, no. We can do something else then. If you're not going to let me be on an even ground with you, then we'll do something different.
Well, look, I'm reading all of these. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Brad, but look, to me, this is a very simple story. I'm putting it on screen right now.
Yeah,
so
go for it.
So everybody can see it. But here it is. Cameron Bertuzzi's claim is, unfortunately, LDS apologist Hayden Carroll has backed out of the debate on the Book of Mormon with Ethan Muse. Okay, I mean, backed out is a pretty loaded term. Usually insinuates fear or some kind of shady behavior or some kind of concession. So, okay. He continues to say, if any LDS apologist available the same date and time, June 2nd, let me know in the comments. Okay. I think I responded to like his YouTube version of this post because I think I saw a community post, not an X post. But now I look down here and Sean Layton takes a screenshot and says, smart of Hayden. And I don't know if it's smart or not, but we're going to read it. Hayden Carroll said, apparently, I'd like to apologize to @CapturingChrist and @eMuse1955 for prematurely accepting this debate. I agreed to participate in good faith and was open to a substantive, productive debate. However, I have not been able to get clarification on the other side's position or what exactly will be argued. Without that basic foundation, it's not really possible to have a meaningful or productive debate. It could turn into a talking past each other rather than engaging on the issues being represented on both sides. In any debate, it's my goal to understand the other side's position and fairly address it. Based on these circumstances, I've decided not to proceed with the debate in order to avoid misunderstandings about the topic at hand. Cameron and Ethan have been gracious to me in the exchange, and I appreciate their goodwill.
He spoke too soon.
Huh. Well, that's on him.
Hayden said,
but now he's trying to make a scene out of it.
Well, yeah, let me finish. I just see a lot of just bad behavior kind of on both sides here. Hayden's a smart guy, and he's smart enough to know, dude, don't accept debates until you know the terms first. Just ask clarifying questions. Or ask,
I think it's super implied that if they were talking about how Joseph Smith is not on the table unless your church fathers are as well, that, hey, if we're not moving on with that topic, we're going to do the Book of Mormon instead. Reskinning that as your same debate attack against Joseph Smith, super shady.
No,
that's such a
sure.
There's nothing on Hayden for not catching that.
I didn't get to finish my sentence. I didn't get to finish my sentence. Is that okay? I think Hayden's smart enough to have avoided this landmine. That's a landmine to step on. But at the same token, who puts out landmines before the debate? Like, come on, bro. Like, if you have an opportunity to have an interlocutor who's smart enough to know how to debate, knows all the Lincoln Douglas debate rules. I'd love to debate some of these people, but I didn't do debate when I was in high school. I don't necessarily feel the most qualified. I'll do a debate discussion. If you just want to do like the discussion Allie Beth Stuckey with Jacob Hansen style, I'll do that pretty much all day long. But for those that crave formalized debates, finding a formalized debater is such a rare breed. Cameron, you're a smart and charismatic guy. Just make some concession. Be like, okay, cool. Well, maybe we won't talk that topic. I've got a date, I've got a venue, and I got 2 people willing to debate. Holy crap. Let's just find something we agree to debate on. Lights, camera, action, baby. Let's make this happen. Woo! So I just kind of think like, okay, I feel like Hayden's smart enough to have avoided this, and I feel like Cameron's smart enough to have made this happen without resorting to accusing somebody
Hayden
of backing
shouldn't have
out.
Had to avoid this. That's my thing.
Okay.
This is that's just bad faith. Like that is them being bad faith actors in setting up their debate topic as a trap to do the thing that they wanted to do instead, right?
And
like,
if not bad faith, at the very least, not feeling confident enough in the topic to go the harder route that for them that Hayden was proposing, which makes it a little ironic that their response to it was, oh my gosh, the Mormons are scared. Sure, we wouldn't do a debate where we compared the Catholics to the Mormons, but they're the ones that are scared.
I get why you may not agree with me now based on just what you've seen so far. But
Sure.
Luke, do you have loaded up the next ones?
I put in a screenshot of multiple tweets that Cameron made after this.
Okay, I'm just
so starting at the bottom.
I will, but let me just finish one thing here. I'm putting on the screen just literally what I'm seeing here. And I'm just going down the comments from the original post so nobody can say I'm doing anything like shady here. But underneath the comments of the original post, first comment I see is Hayden's response. And then I actually see Luke Hansen here saying, on what topic specifically? In Capturing Christianity, our boy Cameron Bertuzzi says the topic is the Book of Mormon is inspired of God rather than the devil. Heck, I'd debate that topic with you. That's kind of closed and shut. To me, that's like a 5-minute debate, not a 50-minute debate.
So, Cardon, watch what happens next with the rest of the tweets, okay?
Okay.
So then that same day, Cameron Bertuzzi makes like an AI anti-Joseph Smith song thing and puts all Jacob Hayden's, Blake Osler's faces, other people on. And the caption that he puts to the video is, "Why won't Mormons defend Joseph Smith? Full video coming out soon." So one guy says this debate wasn't what I thought it was. Backs out. Cameron posts about that, gets a lot of views. The same day posts again, "Why won't they defend Joseph Smith?" with a lot of views. And then I'm going to do an episode with this guy that was going to debate like tonight or the next day about why they won't debate Joseph Smith, why they're scared of it. Then I simply asked what the debate topic was. And then he quote tweets me the next day saying, "Following up for Luke Hansen, you down to debate?" So like trying to call me out publicly so that to make it look like I had accepted or was interested in it, but then I also ran away. I go back and forth with Ethan in the comments. We talk a little bit. We kind of narrow down some stuff. I'm actually talking with Jacob in the background a little bit. And then Cameron puts out this tweet. Hold on, I'm going to have to pull it up here.
Is it the one
it's not in the screenshot? Yes. This is when I was a little perturbed with Cameron.
Okay, I got your screenshots right here.
It's in the Discord now.
Here's the first screenshot, pulling up the second. Okay, keep going.
So if the link in the Discord, is that up?
Yep, got you right now.
So far, apologist Hayden Carroll backed out, Luke Hansen ghosted, and then, oh, wait, it's loading.
Gotcha.
Robert Boylan refused, which he didn't.
I'll tell that
have
story
evaded,
in just a second.
Have evaded a debate with him on the character of Joseph Smith. Hold on. I thought it was the Book of Mormon.
Oh,
no, that's the specific topic that Cameron just told me it was. Yeah, he can't remember the pretense of a topic that they came up with for it to be Joseph Smith. In fact, it seems the LDS apologists have conspired to label it a Gish Gallop. Not that it was blatantly obvious it was a Gish Gallop, or just Robert said it was a Gish Gallop, but you're saying that we all conspired to call it that, despite being explicitly offered to sufficiently narrow the topic. Well, yeah, you want to narrow the topic away from comparing it to Catholics.
This is below Cameron. He's a cool guy.
I know.
Like,
that's what I thought too, Cardon. I'm like, what intern has a hold of his freaking X account here? What is this? Because this mask slip of the debate about the Book of Mormon suddenly is about the character of Joseph Smith,
and everybo's running away from it.
Okay, but let's address the accusations here.
One more thing. Luke is listed as ghosting them within 24 hours of having started talking.
That's what I'm saying. I want to show
and not committing to anything.
Okay, you guys know what's going on, but we're not telling our audience what's going on in order.
Okay.
So I'm showing this on the screen and addressing these accusations here. Okay. It says so far, LDS apologist Hayden Carroll backed out. Okay, I think that's below Cameron to say. Admitting that maybe this is not a fight you're qualified to address, and to me that's not backing out. There's kinder verbiage you can use, okay, especially if you want somebody like that to debate a different topic in the future, okay. And it seems like Hayden Carroll's always willing to debate what he feels prepared for. Luke Hansen ghosted. Well, I mean, ghosted kind of takes weeks. Didn't you say you?
It was about 24 hours between my last message with Ethan and Cameron's.
So 24 hours
about it. Yeah.
Oh, geez, man. I hate to say this. Look at this, guys. Here's some social proof.
If you want to be ghosted, try communicating with Cardon on something.
This is bad. I hate to admit this. Look at the bottom there.
I can't make out that number, but it looks like it's three digits.
2,491 unread text messages. Now, some of that is because when they pop up, I kind of read them, and then I haven't pressed it on the...
the mark is red thing.
The mark is red thing. But like I regularly, like once every 2 or 3 weeks, I have to go through my text messages, and I am aghast at the text messages I have missed. And I'm not ghosting you. I just run a big YouTube channel and have a full-time job and have children and volunteer at my local, everything from the school board to the political this to the, like, we got busy lives, bro. And that's why online debates are such a beautiful thing when they happen, because everybody knows how hard they are to produce. So just have a little bit of patience, like 24 hours before you say you're ghosting a guy. And then the last one is, it says, and Robert Boylan refused, have evaded a debate with Muse 1955 on the character of Joseph Smith. Okay, I don't know Robert Boylan personally.
Here's the gist. Here is where, like, for me, I watched that happen. I watched the discussion with, actually, Chuck was trying to coordinate it for Robert Boylan, where he was setting up like, hey, I bet Robert Boylan would be willing to talk to you guys. I bet he'd rather talk about Marian dogmas, though, right? And Ethan Muse comes out saying,
do we really want an angry Irish pirate defending the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
Yes. That's awesome.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. You have them talking about doing a debate on a separate topic on Marian dogmas. And so then Chuck lines this up and sends an email to Robert Boylan. And now here they are the next day saying, oh, he refused to debate on this character of Joseph Smith, as if he backed out when he like got contacted to do something about Marian dogmas. And then they're like, no, debate us on this thing instead. And I'm not even sure anymore whether it was the character of Joseph Smith or if they said the same thing about the Book of Mormon and then said their separate thing in this tweet, right? This is just such like so many layers of obfuscation to just create this narrative that all of these apologists are afraid to actually defend Joseph Smith when it's like, bro, what have we been doing for years? Like, come on, like, look at all of our content. We've been defending Joseph Smith for years. Jacob Hansen has a whole series on this. This is all over the place. We do this all day. You just have people being like, hey, the way you're approaching this debate seems pretty freaking sketchy. So let's maybe back off for a second and figure out how we can approach this better. And then you're going out and saying, oh, you totally came out and you ghosted us when you tried to like have a debate with us 24 hours later. It's ridiculous, man.
The deep irony is I talked to Joe when we spoke in person a few weeks ago and said, hey, would you, and I proposed to him a debate on the character of Joseph Smith. It was the C.S. Lewis formulation, liar, fraud, lunatic. Sorry, liar, lunatic, or Lord, except it would be liar, lunatic, Lord's prophet for Joseph Smith. And like he would have to bring his theory and I'd bring my theory and we'd put them up against each other, seeing which one better explains Joseph Smith. And Joe was hesitant to do the topic because he knows that he's smart enough to know that the life of Joseph Smith is not easily explained by demonic or fraud, and that there's a lot of good info for profit. So he was like, well, I'd have to look at all that stuff. So I put it out there. I wrote it all up, what I was thinking the topic could be, what I was thinking for the times, dates, that kind of stuff, and sent him an email. And I haven't heard back yet for about 2 weeks now. Am I going on X and saying the Catholics are scared to debate me on Joseph Smith? Look at this email that they have there. No, that didn't even cross my mind to do that because I know that Joe's busy. I know that it might not be the best topic for him to try to do because of the way that I formulated it. And I'll send him out an email in a couple days or so if I haven't heard back from him yet and see if we can put something together. This is not like a 20 like I said to Ethan,
falls through, even if everything falls through, Luke, are you going to go out there and then be like, Joe Heschmeyer's running scared, you know, like
no, it's silly. And this see, we're even doing it now. It pulls us into kind of like a high school he said, she said, then this happened, then that happened, and can you believe what they did thing, instead of talking about the actual topic itself and putting forward arguments and rationalizing and doing what Alex O'Connor did with Trent Horn, for example. And I think it's kind of designed to do that. It pulls us more into that lizard brain part instead of more of the analytical looking at the facts side of things, which is unfortunate.
Dude.
True.
I agree with you both. And I think you are both wildly intelligent and smart. And you know what, Luke, if you weren't such an apologist for the Daily Wire, I'd even agree with you more on this one. But no, I just can't. So are we going to get it together and something can happen, or is it just
maybe? The funny thing is, I actually emailed Cameron, so now it's private. He said if asking if I was interested, and he did that
actually.
Why
don't we do this? Why don't we offer this Muse guy? I'm looking at
no.
Hold on.
Do we have Muse's final thing? Do you have that one, Luke?
His final?
Yeah. Did you see that he's already been like, I'm not interested in discussing Mormonism further. I'll pray for your souls, basically.
He got burned out on that real quick.
Wow, interesting. I was going to say, why
and then Jacob and I did a space with him. We had like a nice cordial space, and then Cameron like secretly recorded it. Not super secret since it was public, but like recorded it in case Jacob tried to delete it, which people said he did, but there's like an option to save the recording or not online. And he intended to be more like a conversation, not like some sort of public thing for people to watch us trying to bash each other, to understand each other. And then Cameron clips it and like, oh, they tried to hide it from you. Here's the Mormons admitting. that Joseph Smith. It's like, yeah, we don't think he was Jesus. Did you get that impression? And even Ethan was saying this to me. He's like, I would have 10,000 times more respect for you guys if you just admitted that Joseph Smith had a lot of flaws, but you think he's a prophet despite that. And I was like, that's my exact position. What gave you the impression that that wasn't my position? It seemed like they just kind of assign a position to us. And then if we don't say the exact right thing, then we're running away from it. And then if we do say the right thing, then we've admitted it and we caught them. They didn't want to say it, but he knew the facts so well, he was forced to admit it. It's like Jacob made a public video saying this stuff. He put it out there on the YouTube channel willingly. You didn't have to like sneakily record him in some YouTube space where we got the Mormon to admit this thing that he'd already put out there, that he read from a book that's published at Deseret Book. Like,
I'm just.
What are we doing here, guys?
I hope they get it together. I hope they make this
Cardon,
happen.
I just put. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. I put his final post on X into the Discord. If you want to pull that up.
Okay, so here it is on the Discord. Final thing. Says, I'm going to take a step back from Mormon counter apologetics on Twitter for a while, looking into a possibility of debates with a couple of Mormons, but not going to pursue them as vigorously if they are unwilling to accommodate my preferences regarding the topic. I'm still not sure exactly which topic he wants.
That's kind of funny.
On just that line.
That's kind of a funny admission.
Is that not what Hayden did?
Yeah.
And so, like, what I'm going to say is, like, look, I'm not going to be here and say, look, here's Ethan Muse backing out and he's just afraid and can't actually debate. It's like, no. This is a reasonable thing to do. You want to have a debate that you want to think will be productive, right? So it just kills me that they like extend that same courtesy to Hayden and Luke and Robert Boylan here.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, finish it if you want.
Okay. He continues. Okay, and he says, I stand by everything I've said about Joseph Smith, but I think it is spiritually corrosive to spend too much time dredging up darkness and filth rather than growing in understanding of and appreciation for truth, goodness, and beauty. I think this comment is a great place to leave off. I pray that Our Lady will intercede with our Lord to soften the hearts and open the eyes of everyone that has been indoctrinated into the LDS faith. And
you were so close to saying something like, hey, I agree with all of this. This is, yeah, you know what? We should focus on goodness and beauty and truth. Awesome. And you've been indoctrinated. Dang it. Like, come on.
I think he's trying. I think he recognized that things were getting unnecessarily heated, backbiting, just overall unproductive.
Okay.
I'd like to think that was partly because of his good interaction with us on the space, where things were just very nice and pleasant and stuff. Maybe.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Okay.
But
well, here's the offer. Let's just do this. Let's just do this.
Wait, don't make an offer on my behalf. I don't know what you're about to offer.
No, I'm not gonna. No.
Okay.
I'm not making an offer on your behalf. Although you might be there that day, and I'm sure you'd enjoy talking with him. But this is our boy. Is he the guy that looks 110% like an apologist kid? Like, it's this dude right here, right? With the glasses and the button-up shirt and, like, the Dumb and Dumber bowl cut kind of line on his forehead. That's the guy we're talking about, right? This dude right here?
Yeah, that's Ethan. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So here's the...
we shouldn't attack him on his looks. There were people on X who were doing that, and we should not do that.
I'm
not happy.
God, dear God, can
I
get to the end of my
I'm not saying you are. I'm saying there were people on X doing this. You're describing the dude, right, Cardon? I'm saying these people on X were going after him in a way that's like, dude, that doesn't win us any points. Like,
yeah. Can I get through the offer before we interject?
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, there we go. So this dude, making sure I'm talking about the right dude, this guy right here that we've established is the guy who I was only describing in order to make sure that I knew the right person, because I'm not in on these apologetic circles as much as you guys. So this guy right here, Luke, you and I are going down to do the San Diego Temple open house with some pretty big Christian characters and going to do some interviews with them. Am I correct? Are we allowed to say the names, or is that still under wraps?
I'll say that it's under wraps just to be safe.
Either way, we got some big YouTubers down in San Diego that we're going to be doing an interview with. Big Christian characters with very large followings. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Temple in San Diego, which is one of the most beautiful temples in the world, one of the greatest religious structures in the world, has been generally open only to members of our faith for the past, 30 years since it was built. But once about every 30 or 40 years, temples get renovated, and they go through a period of time where they're kind of like decommissioned as a temple. We do all of the physical repairs, and then they are rededicated as a sacred space. And in that meantime, before the rededication, they actually allow the public to come in and do free tours and see what it's like inside of an LDS temple. Well, the flagship Californian beautiful temple, actually I shouldn't say that because the LA temple's cooler and the flagship temple of California, but the San Diego temple, the beloved and the lovely and the gorgeous building the Mormons are known for, very much so in Southern California, is getting rededicated. Muse, you want to talk with us? We'll have whatever talk you want, my man. We'll buy your tickets to come down and walk through the temple with us, ask whatever questions you want, and for an hour, we'll turn the cameras on. You can have access to all the footage, do whatever you want with it, so on and so forth. We'll record with you after we're done recording with those big YouTubers, pretty much whatever you want in discussion format. You know, I'm not a big Lincoln Douglas debater. Luke is. Luke, he's got that bug. He knows what he's doing. But Ethan Muse will take you out to lunch. You know what I'm saying? We'll even hit up the really, really cool Catholic mission in San Diego, which is, I don't know why more Catholics don't explore all the Spanish missions on the West Coast. Because true or not true, Luke, that is a super cool part of California and West Coast heritage. I mean, basically, from the border of Canada all the way down to Baja, California, there's a mission in every major city that dates back to the 17th century. I mean, the one in Laredo, Mexico is like a 1590 something or a 1600 something. This is a really, really cool part of Catholic heritage in America. You're invited, Ethan, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, man. And I'll be there. You can talk with me if nobody else wants to do it. So is that a fair offer, Luke? Brad, do you guys think that's a fair offer?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a fair offer. I have no idea where Ethan is located, though. So
that's true. Let's hope
idea how viable that
let's
is.
hope that's a domestic flight. He's not like some Aussie or something, you know?
He is in the U.S.
He's actually in the Falkland Islands. It's like it's difficult to get through.
A $5,000 plane ticket, and we're like, oh. You know?
So
thought it was gonna be like $200.
Yes. I do have a super chat.
Okay, and then last super chats, and then we're gonna bounce.
Yeah, and then a welcoming to the Award Radio Wigwam. So BM Westmoreland says, yeah, it's not worth debating anyone on Joseph Smith's character unless they've gone through, I don't know, one volume from the Joseph Smith papers. Friggin' clowns.
Oof,
it is kind of frustrating when we get the kind of thing that we were talking about earlier, where people try to say, let's talk about the character of Joseph Smith. I know all the bad things ever said about him, instead of like even being remotely familiar with the good things going on in his life. So yeah,
and this is in Robert Boylan, the Angry Irish Pirate's defense, which I take back what I said earlier. I would support Robert Boylan doing a debate on behalf of our faith if he did it in an Angry Irish Pirate outfit. So if he ever goes off the handle a little bit, we can contextualize it with a costume, right? So no, I'm just kidding. So that is my problem, though, with the very nature of the question, saying I want to debate on the moral character of Joseph Smith, shows you have a preconceived notion of nefariousness that, frankly, is just not supported by the historical record and relies upon a preconceived notion of just idiocy, con menace, deception, so on and so forth. And it's like, there's enough to disagree on. You don't have to resort to character assassination, especially character assassination that is not supported by the historical record. We know this, okay? Like, I hate it when people go against Catholics and act as though they're all pedophiles because a couple of priests that we know were bad apples in a good system did something wrong with altar boys, okay? There's enough evidence out there that, you know, this is actually a bad example. That's an apples and oranges example of something I don't like that people do to Catholics that I think is unfair. But I just think that if you're saying that, I know the way the debate's going to go, and this is why I'm saying this is in defense of Robert Boylan. If you've already taken the preconceived notion that Joseph Smith was a bad person, I know the debate from past experience with the thousands that have already tried to do it is going to be a gish gallop of anti-Mormon tropes recycled from the 19th century that are not supported by the historical data, which means I'm just going to have a garbage debate sniping either insincere or cynical ahistorical arguments that just aren't true. So I'm willing to do that because to me it's kind of like a fun game of whack-a-mole oftentimes. But I can see why somebody may not want to, or somebody that, you know, loves the prophet Joseph Smith more would say, you know, I'm not into that. So
well, in a formal debate, it's often just a waste of time and turns into like, at best, you get something like James White and Jacob Hansen's debate, right? Where they're talking past each other. And Jacob is actually addressing the question, and then everything else is just kind of falling apart, which seems like what they were aiming for with the Book of Mormon pretext.
Read our last super chat and welcome our last person before we jam.
You got it. John Davis, 3125, says, the fact that Catholics thought Ethan had won anything in the discussion with Luke and Jacob is crazy.
Well, it's not crazy if you're just playing team sports and you already think that Mormons are stupid and Catholics are right. Then, of course, you're going to think your guy won. I think the average uninformed person is just going to default to thinking that their side won.
To root for the team, yeah.
Yeah, just to root for the team. But, yeah, I agree with this person. I think, John Davis, you're right. From a clear-minded, just analyzing the facts or the quality of the arguments, yeah, you'd be surprised how far people will go to say their side won even when they didn't. It's nuts. Next one.
We got a new fun one. We got Crackhead Steve says, hey, Ward Radio, appreciate the work y'all do. Y'all have taught me so many things about our faith that I didn't know about. Much love.
Wow.
That's awesome, Crackhead Steve. 1538.
Crackhead Steve.
Yes. I want to say this with a Dave Chappelle accent. You crackhead? You know, like that's Crackhead Steve. By the way, Crackhead Steve 1538. Are you saying there was already 1,537 Crackhead Steves taken when YouTube offered you up that username, or is that?
Or he's just that old.
Well,
yeah.
there was that time when YouTube just added a bunch of random numbers to people's profiles, right?
Maybe. I am not sure.
I bet that's what it was.
But and then also Molinero 1112. We've received the records of Molinero 1112 into the Ward Radio Wigwam. Everybody that would like to welcome him, please put a W in the chat for Molinero 1112. Wow. All right, guys, you got anything cool coming up before we jam? What are you guys up to?
That video tomorrow.
Based.
Yeah, and then I guess for me, Riley and I are getting close on our 5th book. Yeah, if any of you nerds watching are also fans of fantasy, my wife and I have written a fantasy series called the Skystone Chronicles. You can check it out at skystoneChronicles.com.
Wow, look at you say you've written a 5th book. Why?
Book 5 is
Where's
almost
the 4th? Done. Where's the 4th behind you? I don't see the 4th behind you.
We sold out of it.
Yeah,
right, so I've got to get another copy to put up behind me.
You know, the funny thing I just realized is that right there is a stack of Andrew Klavan's mystery books that I have right behind me.
Hey.
They're pretty good.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's cool.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So, all right. And we got some good stuff coming up right now. One of them, actually, before I go, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you go to wardradio.com. And if you go down, sign up for our newsletter here, because we got some really, really cool articles coming out. Dr. Christopher Blythe is writing a series of folklore articles for us. So,
Nice.
Luke, you might have some editing and posting to do, my man. But
And of course, the second edition of Witnessing Miracles will be coming out from Word Radio Press
yeah, it
Oh,
better.
yeah.
in October.
It better.
So
my
be on the
man.
lookout for that.
So, yes, I can say that I'll talk to Josh about that. I'm not kidding you. But yeah, please make sure you guys sign up for our newsletter. And also, if you are interested in sponsoring a Ward Radio event in your hometown, it could help with the venue or with travel costs getting out there. Please make sure you also talk to us on wardradio.com as well. That's a great way of getting us to your hometown, is offering to help produce the event itself as well. You can either give us your time or your money. Both are valuable. So with that said, one last shout out to all of our sponsors. Thank you very much. Go and Do Travel, as well as scripturenotes.com and Angel Studios. Don't forget to use that free angelshirt.com when you guys order a shirt. If you guys want to get them, they are available in the Ward Radio merch store, along with our War and Heaven veteran hats. And as always, make sure you're subbed here. Make sure you've liked the stream and you share it with your buddies, so we got more people here in the Ward Radio Wigwam when we come back. Other than that, it's been real and it's been fun. And it's been real fun for this and more. Please make sure you guys check us out at wardradio.com.
I built a rocket in my basement. I'm gonna fly it to the moon.